Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Thursday, October 5th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect clear skies with a high of 92. Coming up on OTB, we talk to Caroline Fenton at 8:30, and Chef Michael Johnson joins the show at 9:15 for a new edition of Munchies. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to another day of OTB. It is Thursday, October 5th, 2023, and we are kicking off another week of football. Week 6, college football, week 5 in the NFL. We'll preview all the big games coming up over the weekend. And we got some exciting giveaways go on today. Of course, we got Munchies, Caroline Fit, and everything else. Today's show probably, though, starts with something very serious in that LSU announced Wednesday that senior safety Greg Brooks has been diagnosed with medulloblastoma. It's a rare form of brain cancer. Remember, they removed the tumor in the surgery. They had a biopsy. That is what was revealed. In an official statement, Dr. Catherine O'Neill and Our Lady Lake Health said there is no sign the cancer has spread, but, quote, Greg's speech and ability to communicate have been impacted, and although he is responsive and working daily with physical therapy, he will face months of intensive rehabilitation. The surgery was successful in removing the tumor, and again, there's no evidence that the cancer has spread. So, obviously, it is a, I can't. I don't know how to say this. I can't comment on having any understanding of is this somewhat good news? Is this somewhat bad news? What does it look like going forward? What I do understand is that the family is going to need help during this time in terms of, covering everything that is required in this country to get the treatment that you need. I don't know. Again, I don't know why it's not like all covered through LSU or something. But again, I don't think that's the thing to focus on, right? The family has reached out. This is Greg Brooks Victory Fund, which you see right now that you can donate now to. Let's go ahead and get that link pinned in the chat if we could, and everybody help out in any way you can. I don't know the official shape of the plans quite yet, but Saturday's Whiskey and Wine will be solely devoted to raising money. I'm hoping to have a couple different buckets in which we can do so. So if you can help in any way that you can, in any amount, certainly go support this family as they need it. It's a we've talked about it. We all know what it is. It gives you perspective. It's awful. It's everybody's nightmare. And let's just all as a community try to come together and help this family make it through that. It's weird to start a show here and then have to go to talk about stuff that doesn't matter. But does anybody want to add anything here?
Obviously, like we've talked about, an incredible young man. If you've ever been over there and you've talked to the team and had conversations with him, one of the absolute best. Also know he's a fighter and also know he's got an incredible spirit. And so it is a long fight. And this is somebody that, just like we talked about with Foster, you never count a Greg Brooks out. And so he's going to do everything he can to fight and continue to fight every single day, but still needs you. Still needs everybody. Still needs you to help and donate and do all those things. And so incredibly tough news. It's one of those situations, T, where you were hoping like it was just something that he could have the surgery the first time and then he could just start his rehab process then, and there wouldn't be news like this. But, knowing that there is news like this, again, knowing his spirit, knowing who he is, and knowing that he's going to have all these people around him will help him out in this fight and in this battle, and to know he's not alone. And so, anything you can do, anything you can give. I know certainly we'll be trying to do something with my foundation to try to raise some money for him as well, and I hope anybody that's got anything like that can help raise some money for this, because it is going to be a long fight.
Yeah. And and then obviously prayers, positive energy, whatever you believe in, whatever you pray to, or just good thoughts, like anything, right? Just send all of that Greg and the Brooks family's way. All right, now we will attempt to do the impossible pivot. As we have a sports talk show to do over the next 3 hours. Spooky season is rolling right along. LSU has a massive trip to Como. There's some very interesting games going down in the SEC this week. And you got a little cats and dogs with Georgia and Kentucky coming up. You got the Tide and the Aggies. Aggie fans are furious at me right now. Did you?
Aggie fans?
Yeah,
you've been hating on Texas all year.
I know, isn't it funny? But I'm a little promiscuous take boy. Oh. And as soon as I see an angle, I'm gonna hop in there and I'm gonna kiss that take. And I didn't. I made out with another one yesterday.
What was your take yesterday?
That it really sucks to be an Aggies fan right now. But again, this is why this weekend is so big. It could suck. If Texas loses and A&M wins, then it's all good, right? But it sucks to be an Aggie fan because for 12 years, you've actually objectively been the better football program, but you never won a championship, right? So basically, like your little brother, their big brother. Big brother's, he's a drug addict, getting fired from jobs, fat and sloppy, really losing his way. You're showing mom and dad, I'm working hard out here. And maybe you haven't accomplished anything great, but you've been pretty damn good. You're holding down a job. You're doing what you need to do. You're contributing to the family, a positive member of society. And then all of a sudden, here comes big bro, 60 days sober, been working out, looking trim, already somehow has a better job opportunity than you do.
Yeah, somebody bought that investment that really changed his life again.
The prodigal son returns.
Yeah.
And he's looking better than ever. And guess what? Mom and dad are getting the fattened calf ready for him.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting here like, what the hell, man? I'm trying to beat Alabama this week and you don't even care? No, the Red River rivalry's going down. Sorry, A&M. It's just an awful place to be for them. It just really, really sucks if you're an A&M fan.
No, it's fair. I mean, yesterday doing 3 hours in the afternoon, we talked about Red River rivalry for, an hour.
Yep.
And
us too.
Texas and Alabama got a mention. Texas A&M, Alabama got a mention. That game's happening as well, and I didn't even mean for that to happen. But you're right. I mean, Oklahoma being undefeated also helps.
No doubt.
That helps it.
And Alabama being down hurts.
It does. But Texas right now, and something I want to do later in the show, like I want to give our top 5 across, like kind of go over a couple of different teams in the room. And I just want to have a top 5 of what we've seen this year, what we know this year, not what we think we know, not what we knew from a year ago, but if we were ranking the top 5, because it's hard to keep Texas out of the top spot. I mean, there's only really one team I think can challenge him for the top spot.
I actually don't even think it's a conversation, especially not after what Chat pointed out yesterday with the records of opponent. Like nobody has a close resume. And I was I was a massive Texas touter, right? Like I have not been more wrong on anything in my life.
You had a couple takes on Sark.
Which again, but this is my deal. It's like a play call, okay? A play call doesn't always work out. But if you're not, but it's not about, you don't make a play call necessarily. Like you can't be result oriented. It's the process. It's what all these great coaches talk about. A play call may not work out. What I care about, Jake, is at the time, with the information you had, did the play call make sense? So there's stuff like, I was just listening to Marshawn Lynch on Shannon Sharp's podcast. Really good sit down if anybody wants to go listen to it. But I don't think the Seahawks call from the 1 yard line made sense, no matter what, right? In the Super Bowl, no matter what. But there are calls that, oh my God, that was a great call, but the receiver drops the ball.
Right.
Or a lineman misses a block. But the actual call was still good, even though the result was negative. Look, man, the information I had at hand, Sark had never won 10 games. Everywhere he left, the next guy had immediately won 10 games. Like, yeah, he recruited well, and then also you had over a decade of Texas not getting out of their own way, having cultural problems that seemed to make the entire program soft and unable to just consistently perform at the level they needed to. And so that's the information I had at hand at the time, so I made the call. But something that Ben Franklin talks about, you know, he never wants to be the type of person that if he's presented with evidence, you know, clear evidence that is contrary to something that he believes, he never wants to be the type of person that won't change his mind. And so, yeah, if you're Texas and you go out there and you win in Tuscaloosa by 10 and you're undefeated and the combined record of your opponent is 17-9, which is far better than anybody else in the country, that is clear and direct evidence at this point you deserve to be number one. And so you go, I got to call it like it is. And I was wrong. Thought I made the right call. Ended up not being it. And credit to Texas, man.
And it looks like they've really kind of changed their DNA and their identity as well.
Yeah.
Like up front, it's probably where the biggest flash for me is. Like they've had quarterbacks, they've had skill players, they've certainly had running backs, but that's where the biggest change has been. So looking forward to that exercise to see where everybody's kind of mind is in the top five a little bit later on.
All right, when we get back, you give us your top five as well. We get back more OTB. Keep it locked right here on 104.5 ESPN.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com is the website. You want to buy new, you want to buy a Toyota certified used vehicle, you want to rent, you need to schedule service, you want to check out the deals they have, you want to buy a car online from All-Star Toyota Express. It's all there at All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Look, the product's great, the customer service is great, but ultimately I love the people at All-Star, the manner in which they take care of you, make sure you and your family get what you need. Go check them out today, All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.
Yeah, once you go to the homepage, you can see obviously right there on the top of the website says Rent a Toyota. And we tell you about the rental process every single day, and everything is available in that rental process, so no matter what you need. If you need a midsize SUV, they've got you covered in multiple ways. If you need the full-size Sequoia, if you need the Sienna minivan, if you need a truck, maybe you're moving something, they've got the Tundra Tacoma available as well. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Welcome to your football weekend. Mike Triplett, Fantasy Blitz, Ryan Clark, getting the latest on the Missouri Tigers. 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yeah, it appears that it is NCAA regulations that are stopping LSU from being able to pay for the Brooks treatment here. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to lean into it too much until I have more information. And, ideally I want to keep things all positive and keep everybody focused on the positive and just trying to help the family. But, it kind of pissed me off a little bit. But whatever. We can get to that. Again, with more information. All right. So Eli Drinkwitz was on the SEC teleconference yesterday, Mario. Go ahead and get these ready to roll. Remember, if you want to get involved in today's show, youtube.com/1045 ESPN. Emil saying Texas, Ohio State, Washington, Michigan, FSU. We'll get to our top 5 here in a bit. Here is Eli Drinkwitz. He was asked about, when you're preparing for this LSU team, do you focus on the Ole Miss tape more due to LSU struggles? Here's Drinkwitz 3.
I think you look at it more based on the personnel that's involved. I mean, some of the personnel that played earlier in the season not there anymore, whether it's due to injuries or whatever the case may be. And I think the later you get into the season, you more develop into the identity that you're going to have. So I don't necessarily think it's a scheme-wise. I think when you watch that game, you realize, for me as an offensive coach, I have a much more appreciation for the way quarterback played. I thought Dart played outstanding. Judkins played, as good as any running back in the country in the yards after contact. They have several running backs that can really play well. So I think there was a lot of that game that was a special performance by Ole Miss as much as anything.
And so as he's kind of talking about there, LSU's certainly taken shape over the last few games. So, maybe you're not watching Ole Miss just be like, what can we do that Ole Miss did? But no, those are the guys you're going to be up against. Now, I would imagine that if I'm watching the tape and think, okay, I should probably see more 40 this week. Did y'all hear the report? Well, actually, we'll get to that in a little bit. Jake, what is Mizzou bringing to bear at the running back position? this year. They have anybody anybody that kind of that like a Quinshon Judkins, where obviously Judkins hadn't done anything up to that moment last week, but then well, he was fantastic.
I mean, no, because we know who he is, and we were kind of waiting on him to have that breakout game. And
wait, that's right though. They got who's this Cody Schrader cat?
Yeah,
no.
right now he's second in the SEC in rushing.
Oh,
yeah. But he's not Quinshon Judkins.
No.
He's not that. But they will try to establish the run. I mean, he's already got 81 carries on the year, so they will try to do it. I mean, a lot of it's what sets up. Even Nathaniel Pete, the backup running back, if I'm remembering right, like he was supposed to kind of be the guy. Like I remember them talking about Pete maybe more than Schrader coming in, but obviously Schrader has won that job. Certainly not bad running backs, and they're not afraid to run Brady Cook either. Like he can be a part of the thought process. And last week you struggled with all of it as well. You struggled with two running backs, with a quarterback. Not Quinshon Judkins, because I think when Judkins is at his best, he's the best in the league. But still, I mean, they got talented guys, and Schrader's kind of played above what they thought he could.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what becomes a bit concerning is they have a lot of the same elements that Ole Miss did. They have a quarterback that's playing even better than Jackson Dart, and he can run, like you said. They have a receiver that is better than anybody Ole Miss is bringing to bear, and Luther Burden. And although, again, they may not have a Judkins, they do have a Cody Schrader, who's currently second in the SEC in rush yards per game. So this LSU defense is going to be challenged, and then the LSU offense is going to look too challenged, right? Are we going to get another shootout here? This is Drinkwitz 1. This is on how he approaches trying to defend Jaden and company.
They've got a very good, efficient offense. I only have them punting 9 times on the season, and we're through 5 games. I mean, that's an elite number right there. So our defense is going to have to be really good at 4-point plays in the red zone. We're going to have to be really good at trying to force takeaways, and offensively we got to make sure we value our possessions and take care of the ball and score points.
And then finally, here is Eli Drinkwitz talking about maybe the best sophomore in the entire country, his receiver, Luther Burden.
Last season he faced adversity on the football field for probably the first time in his life. Luther's always been the best player on his team, and when he got here, he got dinged up, he got injured, he was fighting through injuries, and he wasn't necessarily having the success that maybe he thought was just going to come. And you know what? Sometimes you have to face adversity, and you have to respond. And the way he responded has elevated his level of success. And we talk about it all the time. There's just different phases of growth. And, when you face adversity and you overcome it, your confidence grows. And I think you see that with the way he trained this offseason, the way he practices right now. He's an elite practice player, and I think that translates to the performance that he has on the field.
I mean, yeah, it shows up on tape. And some of these players from Mizzou, I do think they're good players, but you do have to kind of dive into maybe the nitty-gritty of some of their stats. Like we were talking about Schrader earlier, almost 6 yards a carry. Yes, but if you look at in conference play, 3.7 yards per carry. So you can dive into a little bit. It doesn't flash as much like Burden flashes on every tape.
Yeah.
So that's a player, I'm not even going to care about what he does against conference, non-conference, because he is a player no matter who you play. So when you watch tape of Mizzou, I think Cook, the quarterback, stands out. I still just don't know why people were booing him. Like when Eli kind of blew up, and I wasn't there, so I don't know what those boos sounded like.
It wasn't the first or second game?
I think it was the second game, if I'm not mistaken. This man's gone longer than anybody in SEC history without throwing an interception.
No, for sure. I mean, he's the second highest rated quarterback in the conference right now. I want to say though, if we look at his 2022, so that's what's kind of weird about his explosion, right? Is Cook's been there since 2020. And in 2021, he played a limited role. 2022, he finally gets a start. It's 14 touchdowns to 7 picks. It's 200 yards a game, 65% completion. Granted, he did run for 6 more and 600 yards, so something, but that's all very pedestrian, right?
Yeah.
Like he is almost having a Joe Burrow type of leap. Not with the volume, but in terms of the efficiency.
Yeah.
So 14 to 7 for the entirety of last year, touchdowns and picks, only 209 yards a game, 7 yards per attempt. Right now, 75% completion, so bump that up by 10 293 yards a game, so bump that up by 33%, basically another extra 100 yards, 11 touchdowns to no picks, and 10.4 per attempt. So not dinking and dunking. Brady Cook. And so I guess what I'm getting at is through the first games this year, okay, here it is. Game number 1, he goes 17-21, but it's for 172 yards. Game 2, 14-19 for 204. But here comes the explosion. 23-35 for 356, 18-25 for 341, and then 33 of 41, 80% completion of 41 passes for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against Vanderbilt. So he is riding a 3-game heater right now, Jake, that is unrivaled by anything else he's ever done in his college career. And I would say if you're in the zone, facing this LSU defense does not feel like something that's going to take you out the zone, especially not when you're at home. And who in the hell is going to guard Luther Burden? Like who? How do you guard him, Jake? When nobody can handle him one-on-one, and he's going to be playing in the slot. How do you guard that?
Well, him being in the slot probably means Sage Ryan's going to get the first crack at it. And, I don't know what coverage you end up playing. You've been a quarters cover 3 team. That's been your 2 main ones. It's not even really close. I mean, those are 2 that you run. We looked up yesterday. I think it ends up being 60% of the time. That's kind of who you are.
Insane.
So I don't know if they stick with that, T. As you well know, it's very hard within season to kind of change who you are, change your identity. Maybe during a bye week situation, you can throw a couple of different things in. But to this point, you got to kind of play with what you came into the season with. You can make minor adjustments. Remember, this is not the NFL. In the NFL, you can have wholesale changes week to week. You don't do that in college football. So do they line up? Do they play cover 3? Do they play quarters again? Do they say, hey, you know what, we're going to play more man, be a little bit more aggressive because maybe that will help? Can't hurt.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe they are a little bit more aggressive. Hey, let's play some cover 1. Let's play 2-man. Let's do some other things.
This is something that I really don't understand, like bracketing guys. Like I don't understand double teaming people in pass coverage and how you still make the rest of coverage work.
Exactly. I don't know that you can right now.
Okay.
I don't know that you can get that done. I don't know that you can play bracket coverage right now because you're so thin in different spots in the back end that you're taking away from something else.
Yeah.
And you feel like that's going to get exposed because Missouri's got 3 good receivers. Burden certainly is the guy on the marquee with the blinking lights, but they've got –
Who else?
They've got Weeze, who has on the year – let's see. Yeah, he's averaging 11 yards a catch, a little bit down, but, I mean, he's got 24 catches, 254 yards, already 3 touchdowns this year.
Numbers.
And then Mookie Cooper is somebody that's more of a big play threat. He averages 15 yards per catch. He's right there with Burden. So him and Burden both 15 yards per catch. He's got real burners. So those are 3 guys that Mizzou feels really good about.
Here's hoping Pete Jenkins can do something with the D-line. It sounds funny, but I feel like that's going to be your only chance to get better in pass coverage is going to be the D-line waking up and finding ways to get consistent pressure. Otherwise, Brady Cook's probably going to tear you up the same way that Jackson Dart did, same way that KJ Jefferson did. Another mobile, good quarterback. 3rd in a row. All right, when we get back here at OTB, let's keep it going. 104.5 ESPN.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
So visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Cut through the static and listen to 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge in high definition. Simply tune to 98.1 and select HD2.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Hannegriff, join us for the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch. We are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar and Town Square Pizza in downtown Baton Rouge. Getting you ready for a big weekend of college and pro football. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN.
And we are not just worse, we are significantly worse. We are almost doubly worse.
Yeah, total defense, they're still like 102, I believe USC is, but like stop rate, we are.
Yeah, stop rate USC is like 30-something.
Yeah.
In the country. You're 125 in the country, not 30-something in the Power 5, 30-something in the country, to be clear. Mizzou's like 66th, so, you know, they're double better than
total
you as
defense,
well.
though, they're in the top 40.
Mizzou's weird. They're very good at stopping the run. They're pretty awful at the pass. In fact, when SEC Mike did his breakdowns of the biggest mismatches this week, most of them were the Mizzou pass offense against LSU's defense, but the other one was LSU's offense against LSU's pass offense against the Mizzou pass defense. So like Jaden and company should get ready to ball again. Fonz Fonzarelli says, everyone just go ahead and get your mind ready for Mizzou to score 40 plus. Just pray and hope that we can get 1 or 2 stops, or pray that Mizzou makes mistakes, hurt themselves to stop drive somehow. Yeah, I mean, Jake, it's kind of funny, but like,
I love that.
But that is correct though, right? Like that's what you have to. I would much rather it's the classic thing how you handle a lot of things in life. You expect the worst, and if it gets any better, well, that's a dub. You know, that's a W. So if I go into this game expecting Mizzou to score 40 and they score 30, hell yeah. Okay? That's better than I expect. I'm going to feel good about that. What that does call into mind, though, is how much offense do you like, or how much pressure? We talked about it in game, how much pressure the offense is feeling, but the Ole Miss game felt like the final statement of, actually, guys, this defense is awful. And so every week now, now it's interesting where the offense is kind of approaching the game knowing they have to score 40 plus.
Yeah, and it's a bad feeling knowing that you have to be perfect on one side.
Yeah.
Like it truly is. And I guess the only example I have is like when we were so bad in special teams and so good on offense and defense, like the offense probably felt like they had to be perfect. But like, think about that. Like, if you're this offense and you know you're explosive and you know you're one of the best in the country, you're 6th in total offense right now, right? And you know that you're going out there and you're putting up 40-plus points a game and you're having all this success. It's like, well, we have to. We can't. Like, the Ole Miss game, Ole Miss got some stops in the fourth quarter, a couple, and that was the difference in the game. But like, you feel like you have to be perfect. That's a bad feeling to have, too. It's a bad feeling to feel like you have to carry the weight of the other side of the football. That's offense or defense, because when you try to play perfect in football, I don't think it's going to ever be the best version of you.
I would also say that I need to see an adjustment out of the coaches when it comes to situational play calling. I mean, Jake, I don't care. I mean, like, I do the 3rd and 5 that we keep talking about from last week. I don't like the rollout call or whatever, especially not coming out of timeout. But like coming out of timeout, what should have been discussed is, hey guys, we're going for it. We're running 2 plays. Like, it's okay. Again, I'll give you a pass last week because you had not yet accepted the harsh, bitter truth of what this defense is. But you don't get another pass this week. If Luther Burden and Cook are rolling and you have a chance to hold on to the ball, I don't care about giving to him on the 15 versus giving it to him on the 50. If they're just gaining 9 yards of play, like it is what it is. You know, you keep the ball. You rely on your best side of the ball to win you the game. Do not give the ball back like you did this last game. So the coaches as well have to adjust their evaluation on these situational decisions. When it comes to how the defense is going to be better, Jake, what's your key? Like because it doesn't seem like they can be, but if they're going to do something, what does it look like?
I mean, it sounds so simple, but also you can just tackle better. I mean, it's not like these players haven't grown up being elite tacklers. I mean, that's why they're at LSU. That's why they were recruited to LSU, right? They showed on tape that they can do all the things you have to do to play at LSU. And we can get into coaching and adjustments and all that. It's certainly a part of the story, but also having effort in your tackling ability, right? Moving your feet, getting in front of the runner, not just leaning over and trying to fall into ankles, right? And taking good angles and not going for the Sports Center top 10 hit, just going for the I got to get my guy on the ground type situation. Like, that can make you be 10% better right there just based off the tape. And also, like, take pride in knowing what you're doing as well. Like, no missed assignments. When I see 10 guys doing whatever it is, 10 guys in man and one guy in
Yeah.
zone. That one guy that's in zone, you can't tell me that the other 10 guys got the signal and you missed it because it's somebody else's fault. That's your fault.
Yeah.
You've got to go out there. You've got to make sure you have attention to detail. Like, those are things that are easy. Those are things that are incredibly fixable. I mean, they are. But, like, you had so much of it. You know, how long is that process going to be?
Well, at a certain point, at this point with the LSU defense, Jake, I feel like mental mistakes almost have to loom larger than physical. You know, because physically, none of these guys seem great, right? Physically, all of them seem like if they go against a great receiver, they're going to get beat. So I want the guy who at least is going to be in the right spot. And so if you are that one guy, well, then you got to you got to come out. And we're going to put somebody else in. I guess the problem is right now that you put the other person in, and then they do something similar, and then somebody else does something similar, and so eventually you just like can't solve it. Make the defense.
No, like you're too far into the season too, and we're not talking about. Not all these players are true freshmen. Like you've been here.
Yeah.
Like certainly you've been here throughout a spring practice, even if you are a freshman for the most part, right? Very few of these guys don't come in early anymore. Like you don't really have an excuse.
Make defense great again says, when rewatching the film, did anyone notice a lack of effort defensively? Like the defense expect the offense to bail them out? Effort's always such a weird thing to discern. I think what you saw at the end of the game was a defense that had been broken in more ways than one. Their spirit was broken. Their confidence was shattered, and they were exhausted because guys did look like they were moving through molasses, like they had concrete shoes on. I mean, they kind of looked slow the entire game, but especially by the end of the game, it felt like they were moving in slow motion. But I think it was, you could, and maybe that is an effort thing, but just how I view it is more that, like, look, what do we always talk about in football? The greatest feeling is breaking your opponent's will. Mm-hmm. When they know that you are superior to them to no matter what they want to do. Like, that's what Ole Miss did to you. And then also they ran a million plays. And so you were tired as hell. And when you're broken, you're getting punched, and you're tired, well, you roll over. And that's what happened.
Yeah, and effort sometimes can be not that you're being lazy as well. Like sometimes it's just like thinking you can get by having bad technique. Like effort comes into like having heart and desire to go out there and go fast forward and do everything you can, but also like effort is efforting your mind to make sure you're doing the right things that you have to do, the things that you were coached to do, the things that you've done your entire life. Like never in the history of football is somebody taught to stand still and just try to lean over and tackle somebody.
Yeah.
Never in the history of football has a coach ever said that. Not one time. But I saw that twice on film that made me incredibly angry. Never in the history of football has someone been taught to duck your head, dive, and hope that your shoulder pads hit somebody's ankle. Never in the history of football has that happened, right? So, like, your effort can be, yes, your heart, your desire. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to run like my hair's on fire. But it's also putting into your memory some of the technique that you've learned throughout your life, throughout your time at LSU, throughout spring practice, throughout fall practice. And, like, yes, so, like, the effort there mentally was not, on display every single play.
Michael says, if only you had a 5-star defensive lineman on the bench to put in when the defense is tired. Guys, look, I liked the Deshaun Womack sack 2 games ago as well. I like the pressure. He looks to be supremely talented. I want him to play as well, but like too much is being made of it. Too much. Now, I will say this. The one way in which this LSU defense, I think, comes up with stops is if this D-line can finally start playing to their potential. So, maybe Pete Jenkins gets them crowded up at the ball, kind of refocused on the fundamentals, find themselves. And so within that kind of lens, Deshaun Womack, he can have an impact for sure. But I guess I'm just seeing a bit too much of like, if you play Deshaun Womack, everything else is going to fall into place and everything's going to work. Like, no, I mean, I think there's a lot deeply wrong with this defense. But I do believe that getting a pass rush out of your D-line, your most talented group, is actually your best chance for pass coverage.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, I don't think it's even really remotely close. Like, the pass coverage right now, it is what it is. And Taylor, do we know anything about Deuce Chestnut? Like, has that been said at all over there?
Kelly hasn't said anything. I mean, the last time they just asked him on Monday, like, hey, why didn't Deuce Chestnut travel? And he said it wasn't. He said it wasn't an injury. It was a coach's decision. I mean, that's all he said.
Clearly your best guy.
Yeah.
On
And
the outside.
honestly, he was in fall camp. too.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not something new.
And he came out with that pick against Florida State. I mean, he's clearly, even if he gets beat,
Even when he got beat,
clearly your best
yes,
guy.
even when he got beat against Florida State, it was more because of the physical nature of the matchup and not because he wasn't in the right spot. So
when we get back, let's talk a little baseball real quick to round out the hour. And then hour number 2, we're going to roll through this NFL and college weekend as we kick off another weekend of football. Keep it locked right here at OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
The official tequila of LSU Athletics. Noel Family Distillery Tequila. Look, they got the Blanco, which is just your classic, smooth tequila. Now, Natalie Noel went to Mexico for months, and like I told y'all, studied the differences in the high-land agave plants, the low-land agave plants, different notes that you can play with to kind of change the flavor, and created a unique blend that has a distinct Louisiana feeling to it, okay? Go taste it and you'll see what I'm talking about. But they also got the Reposado, which they age in the whiskey barrels. It gives it a little sweetness. They got the great rum. The rum aged in tequila barrels is very interesting, unlike anything I've ever tasted. Very good. The point is they're all good. All of the Noel Family's distillery spirits. Go check them out today. Look, buy local. Buy from the boot. Keep it in the boot. Why are you buying vodka from Austin? What are you, a Longhorn? Okay, Noel Family Distillery. Ask for
In
it.
times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs.
This Sunday, as we bring you 3 different NFL games, we'll start at the noon kickoff. That's the Carolina Panthers against the Detroit Lions. Immediately following that, we'll bring you Eagles-Rams, and then the nightcap, the Dallas Cowboys and San Francisco 49ers. So tune in on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
We're back. OTB, closing out the hour. Where was it? Jeff G. T-Bob, you agree with Moscona said Monday. He said the biggest problem with LSU football is it does not have the NIL support like most other schools. I don't know that. I think we have to watch that play out, right? I mean, if LSU's still turning in top 10 recruiting classes, I don't believe that is, then I think you're doing okay. I do know, I've always been very insecure about the Louisiana economy. Like once things become very clearly money-based, can you keep up? And I do know that I have heard similar things in terms of like USC has 50 million, Texas has 50 million, Miami has 50 million, and you're trying to raise like 4 or something. And so I'm not saying there's nothing there, but I don't know that you could sit here and say it's the biggest problem right now. It's a birth of a new market. You don't know how this stuff's going to play out, Like you can have 50 million, but you can only have so many guys on the team, Yeah. You can't just keep stacking guys, and if guys aren't playing, you can go steal them. So it's like, it's if you're still turning in top 10 classes, then no, then I think then I don't think it's that big of a deal. But it may preclude you from getting some of the 5-star stars, which whatever LSU's made an art form of wasting 5 stars anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. That's the other way in which I remember the Athletic did their report over the summer where nobody misses more on 5 stars than does LSU, but then nobody hits more on 3 and 4 stars going to the league than does LSU. Jake, fall baseball opens up today, boys.
That's why Hunt was up early in the chat.
Yeah, dude. Is Hunt, I guarantee, so is Hunt probably absolutely going to be out there? Jay Johnson addressing the media yesterday saying, look, this team is so different. We're not approaching it from the notion of defending or repeating, right? This isn't a vacuum. It is a new team, and the desire to win for Coach Johnson is still there. And he says, look, he has talked about the temptation to be complacent, to lose a bit of the edge that got you there in the first place, and that is something they're fighting against. But there's just so much new with this team. Again, they're not trying to approach it like a look at that. Hunt just said Hunt will be out there. Feels like a margarita night. That they're not trying to approach it like defending their title. No, they're trying to go win another title. Johnson's just got to find a way to get that hunger in there. No Tommy White for the fall, as he had shoulder surgery. He'll be 100% come springtime. And then it seems like Gavin Guidry's dealing with a foot injury. He's not going to pitch this fall either. So,
I mean, Tommy White kind of had that all season. Remember, he heard it early.
Tommy's good. I don't need to see Tommy in fall ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, this is a brand new team, but it's got a lot of good new. Like the new that is here is really, really good. I mean, through transfer portal, through high school recruiting, you feel like you won the draft, right? Because a lot of the guys that you thought were going to get selected don't get selected. They end up on campus, and so you should be very excited. Do you lose 1-2 from the MLB draft? Yeah, you do. Obviously, it's Skeens and Cruz, but you still you've got a ton of new talent coming into this team. And then you have Tommy White back. You have Hayden Travinsky back. You got Milazzo back. So you have some guys that were stalwarts on that team a year ago as well.
You got Luke Holman from Alabama, maybe your Friday night guy. Taylor told me that Luke Holman was asked. What was he asked? You tell the story.
So he was asked, hey, you were supposed to put on weight in the fall camp. What's your favorite local establishment to go to gain weight? And my guy's response was Panda Express.
Hell yeah, Luke. That's a character green flag. Okay? That's how I know I like this kid immediately. I want to hang out with him. And some of y'all will be saying, what? Like, like Mike Anderson's. We got Louisiana food. Okay, where is Panda Express? It's right there off of College. Okay? One of them. That's local. That's a local establishment.
What was Derek Carr's answer about this?
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Right?
No, it was his first place he went to eat. His first place that he went to eat when he touched down. But Chipotle's great. Chipotle's good. Have you ever had Chipotle? Have you ever had Panda Express? It's amazing. I love Panda. Hour 2, let's preview the weekend of college football that will be coming up next.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Chipotle way. Accutemp of Baton Rouge, AccuTempBR.com for all your cooling, heating, electrical needs. You want to go to Accutemp of Baton Rouge. Ask about the Star Club membership. Look, the customer service is just unparalleled. Send you bios of who is coming into your home. They worked so hard to get it right. The service is so efficient. Having them come out to your home, it's very easy from a timing standpoint. The communication lines are wide open. It's just like you'll see why the reviews are so high when you deal with them. Just no BS. No BS, all effectiveness. Accutemp Baton Rouge, AccuTempBR.com.
Yeah, T-Bob's right. I mean, everything that they do it top notch, including letting you know exactly who's coming to your home. So like right now, if I wanted to, I could schedule online on the website right there in the top right corner, and then they would send who's coming to my house, and I would feel very comfortable. Like if they had to go meet my wife at the house, I know exactly who's coming into the home. AccuTempBR.com, AccuTempBR.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Thursday, October 5th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect clear skies with a high of 92. Coming up on OTB, we talk to Caroline Fenton at 8:30, and Chef Michael Johnson joins the show at 9:15 for a new edition of Munchies. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Welcome in hour number 2 of OTB. Ooh, is there any better smell than when it starts to cool off a little bit and you're making like a good stock for a gumbo, and you just got that kind of vaguely vegetable, bony, however you want to call it, just wafting through the air. Ooh, I'm getting so excited for this weekend, dude. Oh, I'm getting so excited. I can't wait to wear a bomber jacket on Saturday. It's finally come. Is 60 degrees cold enough to go bomber?
In Louisiana, when you only get so many opportunities to wear it, it
right?
is.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yesterday I walked outside to take out the trash, and I was like, it's a little chilly.
Like, you're inside,
I need to warm up a little bit. It's a little chilly in here. Look, remember, pinned to the top of the chat, if you're at youtube.com/1045 ESPN, we have the link to the fundraiser that LSU is doing to help raise money for Greg Brooks. And look, this is per NCAA bylaw. LSU's allowed to do this. And if you're like, okay, I want to make sure that my proceeds are going to the correct place, the second section of the bylaw says the proceeds must be designated for a specific purpose, which these are. And then the third part says the proceeds must be given directly to the beneficiaries, and basically just saying that 100% of the money has to go to what you are giving it towards. So, that is legally binding, that there's no shenanigans that take place here. So click on that. Give what you can. Again, Whiskey and Wine coming up Saturday. Hope to have a couple different ways in which you can get involved and help give to Greg and his family and have him offset the costs from this, because it's crazy how health insurance works and everything. All right, coming up on this hour of OTB, though, we are going to look at the weekend schedule that will be. We are kicking off another week of football. It's always such a great feeling, and pretty sneaky good weekend here, man. Maybe especially in the SEC. 3 big-time SEC matchups to break down. How do you want to do? I say we just go. Let's go day by day and see what we like. Nothing here in the Thursday slate for college is going to get me, as Sam Houston at Liberty and Western Kentucky at Louisiana Tech just isn't doing it for me. Shout out Bulldogs, though, coming off a big win in UTEP.
Good Dogs.
But tonight in the NFL, you got Bears and Commies going at it. Pretty cruel for the Bears. They got to immediately get back to it on Thursday after having a huge lead Sunday, blowing it to Russell and the Broncos, and looking as just depressed and awful as ever. And that Commanders defense will probably tear up Justin Fields and company.
Yeah. I mean, Justin Fields, maybe he gets some confidence from going out there and getting to play the Broncos, because the Broncos gave him way more than anybody else has.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it feels like this one could be. Now, I mean, obviously, the Commanders coming off a very tough loss as well, overtime against the Eagles. So, I don't know. We'll see where they're at.
Yeah, Commanders kind of sneaky good, though, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Bears are awful. It's one of the biggest mysteries of the NFL. How can one of the NFL's most storied franchises remain awful for so long? Tommy's pretty solid. Man, why was I thinking of Russell? Oh, because the Broncos. Well, we can get into Russell Wilson later. Okay, coming up on Friday, we got college games, and I actually kind of like these two college games. Kansas State at Oklahoma State. Kind of a fun game to gamble on maybe if you want to just do a little Friday play. And then how about it, boys? Nebraska at Illinois. 1/4 of the season down, okay? What's Matt Rule focused on? 4 quarters. We're only going to get stronger as the season goes on. Corn Hub is back. Nebraska getting their first Big Ten win over Burt and the Illini.
Yeah, both teams combined 4-6 and 0-4 in Big Ten play.
Yeah. Somebody's got to win.
They do.
You know, that's the rules. Can't tie.
Not anymore. You're right. Illinois is a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under set at 43.
Hell yeah. You taking the under there?
Probably.
So I'm excited to watch my Corn Hub boys Friday night. Then coming up on Saturday, the 11 o'clock a.m. slate will allow the kickoff with a ranked-on-ranked battle. LSU in Como at Mizzou. Maryland, Ohio State. Sneaky, interesting 11 a.m. game. Talia Tagovailoa doing what he's done in Mike Loxley's teams, as he's just it feels like Talia Tagovailoa's been playing football for 8 years.
Yes.
But he's, I believe, second in the Big Ten in like all passing categories right now. Maryland's undefeated. How many Big Ten wins does Maryland have right now?
2.
Okay, 5-0, 2-0. Okay, so a little battle of the undefeateds here. Again, Maryland it was last year that Maryland gave Ohio State everything they wanted.
Yes.
In Maryland, I believe.
Yeah.
Pretty much down 7 the entire game.
Also, for Maryland, if they were in the Big Ten West, like they'd have a real chance of doing something. Oh, they'd win it for sure. They have a real chance of doing something pretty special.
Yeah.
Like they're a good team, but they play in the same side as Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan.
Damn, so at 11 a.m., you're going to have LSU, Mizzou. You're going to have undefeated Big Ten teams in Maryland, Ohio State going toe-to-toe. And you're going to have the Red River rivalry.
Yep.
That's a big-time 11 a.m. slate. Again, come out to Don Juan, help raise money for the Brooks family, and let's have a good time.
Yeah, the game is Texas sitting there at 6.5 still. So,
and we'll probably talk more Triple R here in a bit. You got Washington State at UCLA. Go Cougs. The Cougs currently in a fight with the College Game Day team. Did y'all see this?
Yeah.
It's kind of lost in the Lou Holtz shuffle. Everybody wants to talk about Ryan Day and Lou Holtz, but we miss, is it Dickert?
Jake Dickert.
Jake Dickert, right? The Cougs head coach. He was very upset with Corso, which, God, Dickert, that's even crazier than getting mad at Lou. Like, what are we talking about, guy? Like, he was very upset with Corso because Corso said it was the no one watches bowl when it was Wazoo and Oregon State. It appears that maybe Corso more meant it was like the no one wants them bowl. But Dickert, took exception, got upset, which then led to Kirk Herbstreit getting mad at Dickert, which then led to Pat McAfee getting mad at Washington State, calling him out, complaining about College Game Day, showing the flag, whatever. Just kind of crazy still. Despite it all, the Cougs sit 13th in the country, going to the Rose Bowl to take on a pretty salty UCLA defense.
Yeah, I mean, Pat even called out Ryan Leaf. I guess Ryan Leaf said something.
Herbie got mad at Ryan Leaf. That's what it was, because Leaf tweeted about it. Yes, that's what happened. You're right.
Yeah, so a lot of drama there with the Cougs in Game Day, but they're a good football team, and it's going to be a good game. UCLA is actually a 3.5-point favorite in this one. UCLA, great team. Like they lost to Utah on the road, so that's going to be a good one. And Cam Ward, if you hadn't watched him, tune in just for that.
Yeah, he's awesome. Dude.
Now it's on the Pac-12 network. Good luck. If you find it, consider yourself very lucky and fortunate. It's like a scavenger hunt when you find the Pac-12 network. So if you can see it, just watch Cam Ward.
Yeah, how is it not just included in basic cable packages? That's what I don't understand. Like all these other sports
another
packages.
reason why the Pac-12 is no longer going to be the Pac-12.
They're literally the second best conference in the country this year, the Pac-12.
I think it's the best.
Well, no, yeah. You could absolutely say it was the best. I just mean like in the S&P rankings and everything numerically. Last year they were always 4th, 5th. This year they're second. The Big Ten is 4th, and the SEC is basically holding on to 1 because like all 14 teams technically rank in the top.
They got
40.
the ACC first.
No, SEC is first. It's SEC first, Pac-12 2.
The SEC is first.
Yeah, because people don't. Whatever the equation is, top to bottom, the SEC remains like the meat of the SEC remains better than the meat of other conferences.
According to that metric.
Yeah, I mean, no, I get it. Look, you lost out of conference games. South Carolina still lost to UNC.
1-4 against the ACC.
Yeah, for sure. All
right, sorry.
Then you got the game of the day at 2:30 on the Peacock Network. Purdue at Iowa. Hell yeah!
When you started that, you're like on the Peacock Network. I'm like, what? Who's on the Peacock?
Yeah, no, nobody wants to watch
over under
Purdue.
on that one. What do you think it is? Is it in front of you?
God. No, it's not in front
Okay,
of me.
what do you think it is? Might be higher than you think, actually.
Oh, really? Is Purdue putting up points like that? Because they got a defensive head coach. My original guess would have been 38. Now that you said that, I'm gonna go 43.
38.5.
Oh no. Okay, no, I'm fine with that.
I mean, it's still to their
38.
standard, it feels like it's still kind of high.
Nailed it.
I think, and I had this conversation yesterday. I think we forget Iowa's 4-1. Like they just got beat up so bad by Penn State that it's like, oh, they're terrible. It's like, well, they're probably not terrible.
I don't think they're
terribly
terrible.
offensively still. So they're 4-1.
No, I mean they're gonna smash Purdue. Don't get me wrong.
Probably.
It's in Iowa. Like there's no way Purdue's winning that
You're
game.
gonna suffocate them for sure.
Caden McNamara out for the year is a bit interesting though. As I have no idea who their quarterback is. Nate Stanley ain't walking through that door, dog.
Drew Tate, shout out. Offensively, this so frustrating, and I know we're not gonna spend a lot of time on Iowa, but so like they've run outside zone 28 times this year. Okay, 28. They average less than 2 yards per carry. It's like 1.7 on outside zone. They've run counter 31 times this year, and they average almost 6 yards a carry. Why does Iowa continue to say, you know what, we're going to just beat our head against this brick wall? Like, it makes no sense to me. The things they do well, they're like, forget that. And then the things they do really bad, they just continue to do them.
Well, because they only do them well because they're off script. So they're afraid of becoming predictable. So you have to remain predictable to be unpredictable. You know what I'm saying?
We could turn on their tape, T-Bob, and I swear to God, you could be like, outside zone. Here comes the inside zone. It's the most predictable offense I've ever seen.
You're just jealous of Brian, okay? I don't know what to tell you. Brian, for instance, is a good coordinator. And Texas A&M is a good team. Maybe. We're going to find out at 2:30 this week in CBS. Number 11, Alabama, who seems to have absolutely found themselves traveling to College Station to take on the Aggies. Both teams kind of desperately need it. What's weird about the A&M portion of this equation is if they lose this game, there's still a very good chance they could go 9-3. And if you do that, then you're just kind of in football purgatory. Because it's not bad enough to justify the cost, but then it's also not good enough to win a championship, which is all you care about at this point. So, yeah, A&M's in a tough spot here.
Alabama's a small favorite. I don't know if that's surprising to anybody. It's just that, look, it's minus 1.5 for them. For A&M, like Max Johnson's not going to be, like, afraid of this game. Like, that's a positive thing. Like that your quarterback that's a backup quarterback, he's gone actually on the road to Alabama and took a bad LSU team and almost beat them.
Yeah,
I mean, they throw a pass into the end zone. If it's completed, they do win that game. So, like, the stage is not going to be too big for Max. But you start to wonder, like, when they're in this territory, and they've handled it sometimes in the past, but more times than not, like, they don't show up for a game like this. But the matchup's not a bad one for them. Like, when you look at some of the individual matchups, Texas A&M's defensive line's really good.
Yeah, their defense is great. Statistically, I mean, it's like 250 yards a game or something?
Yeah, and Alabama's offensive line against good defensive lines has not looked great. So, like, it's going to come down to Max Johnson, and can he make the plays, and can he distribute the ball to his playmakers? Again, the moment's not going to be too big for him. I mean, that's something that he always had.
Mm-hmm.
And he was always really good in the pocket. In my opinion, that's one of the things that made up for a lack of arm strength. Can he get the ball to his weapons enough? Max Johnson's going to decide if A&M wins this game or not.
All right, when we get back, let's continue to break down the weekend slate. Then we got Caroline Fitton coming up after that. Keep it locked right here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com is the website. That's a great place to start your journey, okay? You can look at some of the incredible deals they have. Remember, if you are a recent graduate or a military member, veteran, they always have deals for you, which we love to celebrate. And look, whether it's the service department, the rental department, the sales department, it is the people at All-Star that separate. Go in and let them guide you to exactly what you and your family needs. Go to All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, allstartoyota@batonrouge.com.
Yeah, go to the website today. Customize that vehicle, right? Customize that Toyota just like you want it. And it doesn't mean you have to add all the features. Now, you can add all the features that you want to, but also if there's something on the vehicle that you don't think that you'll need and you want to take it away, you can do that as well. It is whatever you want to make this vehicle. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
It's on. Join me for a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show presented by Rouse's. Get down to New Orleans and check in on the Saints as they prep for the Patriots. And we'll start taking a deep look at the Missouri Tigers. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Mario, Taylor, Jake, and T-Bob hanging out with you. We got some tickets to give away in hour number 3 for tonight's Oktoberfest. Be very fun, man. We're talking, the food for tonight. Cannot wait. Whatever, more on that in hour number 3. Okay, who is the lesser of two evils? We ended talking about Alabama A&M. As an LSU fan, who will you be cheering for, boys?
I guess I'll go first because I've been pretty vocal about my hatred of Texas A&M. I'm pulling for Alabama, and I really have pretty much since A&M joined the SEC. That's like the one team I always pull for Alabama over.
If I'm looking at this, and if my take was, hey, what's best for LSU? Alabama's been there, done that. So I'm not sure how much that affects you. I don't think you want another team going to Atlanta that's not you.
Yeah, that's like where I've always been about it. Alabama's, the highest of highs. It's let's keep A&M buried for a little bit. You don't need them rising up as well, which is why I've always pulled for Alabama.
Yeah, so that is I think that's the correct logic to apply here. The bottom line is that you can't have A&M getting joy here in the last year of the divisions and winning the West finally and making their way to the SEC championship. And if they lose to Alabama, then it's almost a guarantee they won't go because I don't see Bama losing 2 conference games after this. So, wow. Again, second time this year we're going to find ourselves cheering for the Tide. Unbelievable.
What was the first time?
Against Texas.
Well, it was more you were cheering for.
No, we were. Remember we talked about it? We were all on the same page. Exactly on the same page.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
Horns down.
I definitely ate the L on that one too.
Colorado at Arizona State. 10 million y'all will probably watch it, even though it's on the Pac-12 network. Somehow find a way.
No, there's no way 10 million people can find the Pac-12 network. I refuse to believe that.
At 6 p.m., Kentucky at Georgia. A game that feels very interesting on paper. Georgia's not very good at stopping the run.
No.
Kentucky's very good at running the ball.
Yes.
Ray Davis the beast.
Yes.
I can't shake the feeling. It's in Athens. I cannot shake the feeling, though, that I'm starting to build this up too much as Kentucky's going to have success and Georgia with such a clear thing to focus on. Stopping the run, right? And Devin Leary's not been good. I don't know what kind of super juice he was on 2 years ago, but Devin Leary just is not that guy anymore.
Well, he's not that guy, no, but he's not a liability either.
You don't think he's a liability at all? He turns the ball over quite a bit.
Yeah, his receivers hadn't helped him out. 3 of his 5 interceptions have been off receivers' hands.
Okay.
But to your point,
he better be that guy then.
I agree with you. He has not been the guy that he was at NC State there in Lexington. I wholeheartedly agree with you there. When I'm breaking down this matchup, though, Auburn had success running the football over 200 yards, and they had no threat of a quarterback making a play. Now, that's not really because of what Georgia did. It's because Auburn's quarterbacks are bad. Can he make enough plays, right?
I guess Leary is an upgrade over Thorne.
No, there's no guy. I mean, he is. Even though he hasn't played as well as he can. And I think Ray Davis is a much better back than Hunter. And now Thorne had a bulk of those rushing yards, by the way. So that's Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator for Kentucky. He's got to come up with ways to try to create some of the same runs, but with Ray Davis and not the quarterback position. Wait, how do you do that? Well, you go and you look at what was successful. Where did they attack Georgia's defense? What type of runs were they? And then you come up with your own scheme, right? The play's already in for you. You just come up with, okay, if they ran it like this, but we can run it like that. And also, Devin Leary's not a robot back there. He has the ability to run on some of the stuff that Peyton Thorne did as well. So you still can come up with a game plan, and Kentucky's defense is playing really, really well. Their receivers have to play to their ability if they want any chance of winning this game. They've got 3 receivers that I think are really good potential Sunday players that have not played like Sunday players. They've got drops. Their routes have not been crisp, and they just don't look like the group that I thought they were coming into the season. if they get play from those guys, then they really do have a chance.
I don't think it's going to happen again because I do think Leary is the element compared to Carson Beck that maybe holds you back here. And then obviously just I don't think there's anybody on the field for both teams like Brock Bowers. And God, if this game was in Lexington, I'd give more of a shot. But in Athens, I will say this. Remember, Georgia, we talked about it yesterday, starts very slow this year, tied 17-17 in the first quarter of games this year. And then in the second, third, fourth, they start to take over and separate. But big opportunity. Look, man, if Mark Stoops wins this game, that will actually be different. Right?
Then you won't call him Mark Poops.
Never again. I'll swear off Mark. For now, Mark Poops is just sitting on the shelf. I will throw it in the trash if he wins this game because Mark Stoops has done an incredible job of Kentucky getting Kentucky to a more consistent level than we thought was possible. But does he have a signature? You know, we always play this game with coaches. Does Mark Stoops have a signature win at Kentucky? Has he had a big boy, like a real big boy? Now, beating the number one team in the country, that's a bit unfair. You know, the defending back-to-back natty champs, like, you know, that would be the win. I'm not saying I expect that, but I feel like I don't even know of any, like a top 10 win maybe that he has at Kentucky.
I mean, I know he does have a top 10 win,
Okay.
and I'm trying to think what year that came. It was probably their 10-3 season, but, I mean, they have some good ones. I mean, the way they've beaten Florida, the way they beat LSU, and it wasn't the best LSU team, I realize that, and he's changed the complete narrative of that program.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. Before he got there, they were 6-7, 5-7, 2-10 before he got there. They were, you know, Joker Phillips was the coach, and, you know, they didn't go to bowl games for back-to-back years. And now they've gone to bowl games in 7 straight years. And they've been 11th in the country, 15th in the country in his time there, 10-3 in 2021, 10-3 in 2018. So, they've had some big-time years to that standard.
They beat number 11 Louisville in 2016. They beat number 12 Penn State in a New Year's Day bowl game in 2019. But it looks like those are the highest.
The 18 season, yeah.
Ranking, 18 season. It looks like those are the highest ranked wins in the Mark Stoops era. So right on the edge of a top 10 dub, and now you get an opportunity to get number 1. Again, Georgia without Jalen Carter, not nearly as good at stopping the run this year. Other interesting matchups: Arkansas at Ole Miss. For Ole Miss, I want to see, okay, you know, you did it one week. Can you be consistent? Can you actually challenge for the West? See if Lane Kiffin can get it done. Although I think they're probably already dead with Alabama losing, unless LSU finds a way to somehow win out in the SEC and beat Alabama. Then you get the interesting rock, paper, scissors triangle. Notre Dame at Louisville, Jake. I know you're a big Louisville guy this year.
Yeah.
A little ranked-on-ranked battle with Louisville creeping into number 25. Really impressed with how Notre Dame bounced back last week against Duke. Who do you like here?
Louisville, I don't know if Louisville had a look-ahead spot a week ago. Now, they won the game. They didn't cover the game Friday night.
Yeah, I know.
Pontoon parlay, but it's okay. It's okay.
And, I mean, it honestly kind of pissed me off because they should have. It was a pretty inept offensive performance for both sides.
You have to wonder, like, where is Notre Dame's battery at right now? Like, how much juice
Been in some battles,
does it have left? Back-to-back battles with 2 physical football teams in Ohio State and Duke. Now, the ESPN matchup predictor has them winning this game easy, 70.5%, but I think it's going to be a dogfight. Let's see. What's the line on that game? 6.5. I'd probably play Louisville in this game. I don't know if they get the outright win, but I would play Louisville in this game. I think Louisville right now is a team that's playing with a lot of confidence. And, look, the team they beat, by the way, like, yeah, they didn't cover. They were on the road against NC State. That's not just a roll the helmet out there for Louisville game,
True.
right?
Very
and
true.
you win
That's
that
a good
game
point.
13-10, but you've housed Boston College the week after they almost beat Florida State. You've taken care of business. This will be your biggest test to date, but I just think Notre Dame has to be running low. They have to be on fumes right now just because of the schedule that they've played, and so for that reason, I think Louisville covers.
All right. And then finally, Jake, the only other thing I'm seeing on here that really stands out to me, eventually I'm going to watch Miami again. I don't know if Georgia Tech at Miami is the time, but, like, I feel like Miami hasn't even played a conference game up to this point.
They haven't.
Yeah, I don't know. Miami's had a weird schedule. They kind of burst on the scene at A&M, and they've just kind of quietly gone back to do their thing in the background. Now, I do want to see Arizona at USC, 9:30, late night. Arizona, of course, playing Washington pretty well last week. Jaden Delora didn't play in that game. I don't know his availability for this weekend. But SC's got to be hungry to go make a statement after allowing Colorado back in that game.
This could be a hairy one. This could be a situation where it's close in the fourth quarter. Arizona's not bad. I mean, Arizona's losses are against Washington and overtime on the road in Starkville. Mississippi State's not great, but still going on the road and handling that. They got an opportunity, certainly, to stay close. I mean, it's a 21.5-point spread.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take USC to cover anything after, even though, again, if Jaden Delora doesn't play, then they probably
under 72 in that one.
Let's not mistake this. Caleb Williams is awesome right now. Caleb Williams is playing at an unstoppable level right now. I mean, 6 touchdowns last week, and we're not even really talking about it, which is because he's so consistently great that it's like, yeah, well, he's going to do that, but what's the defense going to do, right? But he has 21 touchdowns, whereas I think Jaden Daniels and Penix are tied for second in the country at 16. So he's not just winning. He's got, nearly 33% more than the second-place quarterback. Yeah. So I always do actually like watching Caleb play. And I misspoke, Jake. Kentucky's 2021 win over Florida. Now, granted, this is not where that team ended, but Florida was ranked 10th at the time.
Yeah.
So Stoops does have a top 10 win during his tenure at Kentucky.
Yeah.
So good on him.
And they've played Georgia well, but it's always been in Lexington. That's another kind of thing to add into the pot here when you're mixing this game up, because in Athens, Georgia has usually played really well against Kentucky. But the South Carolina game was in Athens, and so this Georgia team has got a lot to prove as well. And typically that's when they play their best, is when Kirby challenges them, and we start to wonder, are they the team that we think they can be?
Look, I think I think Georgia is better than 99% of the teams. The problem is that's not their bar. Their metric is being 100% better than the teams this year. Jake, they have entered what I call the Ricky Bobby zone. They quite literally exist in a place where if you're not first, you're last. Mm-hmm. If you do not win a third national championship in a row, people are going to be disappointed amongst your fan base. Even if you win a Sugar Bowl or whatever, if you win a New Year's Six Bowl, it's not going to matter. You win 11 games in New Year's Six Bowl, or you lose a play, not going to matter. They want a national championship, and it's a weird place to be, because it's almost paradoxical, because it takes so much good to get you there, right? Who doesn't want to win back-to-back national championships? But it adjusts your perspective and your level of enjoyment so much that suddenly what's great for me or you feels like crap to them. And so they're in a weird spot. And so, when we say Georgia looks less than this year, they look less than Georgia, right? When they rank 17th in yards per play and 17th in yards per play allowed. Great for a lot of the country. Hell, we'd love that at LSU defensively, but it ain't good for Georgia. And it's not national championship good. And that's all that any question with the Bulldogs goes back to right now is that national championship good?
This will be first or last, Bo. This will be their first ranked game right here this late into the season. First ranked game. Now, again, because it's Georgia, it's at home.
It's their 5th home game out of 6.
LSU's had 2.
Unreal. 5 home games out of the first 6 games of the year. Unbelievable.
I mean, look, the schedule, and some of it's not their fault. We know Oklahoma and SEC said no. But this is egregiously bad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The home games, who the opponents are, and that's why, when I lay out my top 5, they're not in it.
Oh, and we'll get to that. Let's do that next. We'll give you our OTB top 5 of the country. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Community Steel Company, baby. Gonzalez's finest, man. You need steel products. Purlin, tubing, steel buildings. You need Community Steel. You can go check them out. Look at the website, communitysteelco.com. You get an exact idea of the services they offer, all the different products they offer. You can go see them boots on the ground in Gonzales today. Look at what you're going to buy. Understand, they buy their steel directly from the seller. They create it on site. No national middleman BS jacking up the price for the consumer on the back end. The best prices, local, the best customer service. Why would you go anywhere else? Community Steel Company.
Yeah, check out that new website, communitysteelco.com. It's got all the information that you need. It's also got like great setups of the metal buildings and the roofing and sheet metal they can do for you, the trim, all that's laid out now on this brand new website. But always give them a call, local 225-647-2020.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Step inside an Infiniti QX50, and you'll find a suite of driver-focused features tailored to your tastes. But most of all, you'll find luxury that lets you feel infinitely you. Visit your local Infiniti retailer today.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Welcome to your football weekend. Mike Triplett, Fantasy Blitz, Ryan Clark, getting the latest on the Missouri Tigers. 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Trick or treat. Tell your neighbors gonna die of fright. It's our town. Everybody scream. This town of Halloween. I am the one hiding under your bed. Teeth ground sharp and eyes glowing red.
I am the one hiding under your stairs. Fingers like snakes and spiders in my hair. This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Shout out Nightmare Before Christmas, man. Watched it for the first time the other day. I'd seen it when I was younger and it scared me, and then I just never went back to it. It never entered the rotation at either Halloween or Christmas. But my daughters watched it the other day. My boy Matt's kids put him on it, and they weren't scared, man. I was kind of surprised. You ever seen it? It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Like
kids
it's
love
like it is some classic Tim Burton darkness.
I think it was Knox that really, really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, that's because Knox is a man of high class and culture and taste.
He is.
And he understands the beauty of stop motion animation.
He probably does.
God, I love stop motion, dude.
He could
How
probably
could
have a
you
whole
not?
conversation.
How could you not, dude? A good claymation, a good robot chicken back in the day. I mean, again, I talked about it, but that not the new Disney Pinocchio, which kind of sucked. The Netflix
I didn't even know that
Pinocchio.
I didn't even know the Disney one came out.
Yeah, it had Tom Hanks in it. Yeah, as Geppetto. That's how bad it was. No, because Tom Hanks is awesome, and you didn't even know that. But no, the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio has the best stop motion I've ever seen. Like, it's a true modern stop motion film, and it is beautiful and stunning and incredible. And there's a really cool behind the scenes on it that you should check out. But I would say that Nightmare Before Christmas is also beautiful, stunning, incredible. It's from a purely visual filmmaking standpoint, I really love it. The actual movie itself, I think, is pretty good. I don't care too much about the movie, but technically, I think it's pretty fire.
What's the other one? Corpse Bride, Tim Burton did?
Yeah, I saw that was like top 10 on maybe Max or something when I was looking for a Halloween movie to watch.
Yeah.
But you know what I ended up going with? Just to put on the background while I was doing decoration stuff? Beetlejuice. And you know, Jake, I'd never actually seen it.
Amy and Woody doing over there?
I had never actually seen Beetlejuice before.
Really?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It was a little too old for me when I was
Keaton's
younger.
great.
Yeah. I mean, Keaton
Gina
is
Davis is great. Baldwin.
Young Winona Ryder as well.
Yeah.
But no, Keaton is a tour de force. It's funny because he's not actually in the movie a ton.
Yeah,
Like
he's
he's in less than half of the movie, but when he is on screen, it is
I know they're making
undeniable.
another Beetlejuice.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know if it's a remake or if it's a second Beetlejuice.
It's very funny. It's got tension at the end. I love the aesthetics. I love that the almost like the artists that move into the home basically just have this like super like Salvador. The whole movie's got sort of like a Salvador Dali type of aesthetic, which is very zany and trippy and mind melty, and it makes you a little uncomfortable, and the color combos are weird and the shapes are really weird. So I thought it was fantastic. I see why it is such a classic and why so many people love it. What has anybody else watched any scary movies yet to get in the mood? Taylor, proud of you for watching the first half of Two Towers.
Yeah, I did. Watch the first half of Two Towers. I saw Saw on Friday, though. I was telling you guys
How'd that
about
go? The 10th Saw movie,
Really
Taylor.
good. A lot of...
What is Jigsaw? Is Jigsaw still dead and just pulling the strings?
So this is a prequel.
Oh, okay.
It's a prequel before he died, obviously. No, it was actually really good. A nice spin on things. Different than the rest of the movie.
Nice spin? What is he, like, put him in like a carousel of death?
No.
He didn't want to give away too much.
I don't want to give away too much. But
I guess you're right. We should respect, like,
I don't
there's
want to give
enough
away
fans
too
out
much,
there. You're right.
But I found myself pulling for Jigsaw in the movie.
Okay, great. I mean, when you get 10 movies deep, you got to do something, right? So, like, it makes sense you suddenly make Jigsaw the sympathetic guy.
Hey, it got really good reviews.
Did it
too,
really?
and I liked it. I thought it was one of the better ones. I've seen all of them, and like some of them were.
You've seen every one of them.
I've seen
All
every
10.
single Saw movie. Most of them more than once.
What do they call y'all? Jigheads? Like that sounds uncomfortable. Sounds racist. Not even is it like it has nothing to do with race. It sounds like a term that will get you canceled.
I don't think there's a name for it, but no, this was one of the better ones for sure. I really enjoyed it.
Bonesaw is ready. Well, good. You know what? I'm glad, man. I'm glad you enjoyed Saw 10.
But no, I'm gonna see a lot. I was telling Mario before the show, like horror movies are one of the things that like I enjoy year round. So that's kind of like one of my things.
Oh, really? You're just a big horror boy.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah, dude. Gray Bear says, I saw the first Nightmare on Elm Street yesterday. That's a classic, dude. OG Nightmare on Elm Street. Like when you watch Stranger Things, you watch It Follows, you watch any of these horror entities that are creating that 80s synthy vibe, so much of it comes from that original Nightmare on Elm Street, dude.
Yeah, it does. Fantastic. Like when those were popular and Jason as well, that was a great time in horror movies. Like because then it turned into like when I was in high school, The Ring. Like I don't need to see that. I don't need to see this old girl crawling out of the TV with their hair. I don't need all that.
That was so we went from slashers to the Japanese. We went more
you had
Eastern in our
Grudge,
horror.
The Grudge,
Yep.
and you had The Ring, and I don't need to see all that. Just keep it suspenseful like Scream, all right?
Yeah, so I mean, Scream's funny too because as a kid it scared the crap out of me. As an adult, you see it's as much comedy as it is horror movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's got that, it's got suspense, and it does have, I guess.
Well, you're just obsessed with Neve Campbell, right?
Why do you? It's Neve Campbell.
Oh, it's Neve.
Is it Neve? I thought it was Neve too.
What?
You're thinking of the catfish guy.
Is it Ramos or Ramos? It should
No,
be Neve.
nobody's ever said Neve.
So you Neve some Neve.
Nah, you lost the sauce. It's a Neve.
I thought Hills Have Eyes was pretty creepy when I was a kid.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since like high school. I thought it was all right.
Was that like House of Wax kind of same?
House of Wax.
House of Wax, starring
Paris
Hilton and
How
Chad
funny
Michael
is that,
Murray.
That everybody still knows it stars Paris Hilton and Chad Michael Murray.
And you know what the funniest part is? Like, spoiler alert, Paris Hilton ain't in that movie for that long, and she's still the one that everybody remembers.
See, I don't.
That was at the height of her time, right?
Yeah.
I think I
it
saw
was like,
like
what, 2000, 2001?
No, it was a little bit later than that.
Was it a little bit later than
I
that?
would think.
Yeah, I think I
so.
was early high school, maybe late junior high.
I might have been in
when
college
it came
when
out.
that-
Shout out House of Wax, I suppose. Really shout out Saw. I love how horror movies can spawn these
2005.
franchises. Relatively cheap to make. You can create a lot of tension just by like music and angles.
I'm always of the opinion Saw is not a horror movie, but
What is it?
I consider it like
a mystery,
more like a 7
Thriller?
on steroids, like a
puzzle.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really there's nothing scary about it. I don't think.
Like a Jigsaw movie.
Yeah, there's no jump scares, but I mean, the cops are always on the guy's trail. They're trying to figure things out. Like I look at it more
Like a
as like
thriller.
a thriller crime movie than a horror movie.
7
I
on
do.
steroids. I feel that. Okay, when we get back, we'll
Sevens.
have Taylor rank all 10 Saw movies. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I like the one where he puts them in the house, and I like the one where he puts them in the boat. Is there a boat one yet?
There is a house when it's the second.
No,
it's
I
probably
remember
the best
that
one.
I
That's
remember-
probably
so-
my favorite one.
I don't think it's the best, but I do remember that dude getting thrown in the bed of hypodermic needles. That always felt awful to me.
Yeah.
You know what else feels awful? When you get in an accident and you don't know where to go. So you're going to go to Gordon. You're going to get Gordon. You're going to get it done. You're going to get someone who's going to take care of you and get you exactly what you deserve. Get Gordon. Get it done today. 225-888-8888. Get Gordon. G-Team. Get Gordon on social media.
GetGordon.com is the website. If you can't get to the phone right now because you're already at work, don't worry. You can do everything on that website. GetGordon.com because you can have a chat. You can see past client results. You can find out what cases they can handle for you, right? And so go ahead, check out that website again, GetGordon.com. T-Bob said it there. At GetGordon is the handle on all major social medias. And then wherever you're at in Louisiana, that area code followed by 888888. Get Gordon and get it done.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
Hannah, join us for the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch. We are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar and Town Square Pizza in downtown Baton Rouge. Getting you ready for a big weekend of college and pro football. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Ask the bench. Bilbo wants to know, favorite killer from thriller/horror movies. I don't know if I have a particular.
This is easy for me. It's Michael Myers.
Not Jigsaw.
No, Michael Myers.
Why Michael Myers?
Well, because if you think about it, that's one of the only slasher things that could actually happen. Because Jason comes back from the dead, Freddy's only in your sleep. Michael Myers is a real dude.
It's between Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger for me.
If I had
That's why we had a movie, Jason versus Freddy.
Yeah. Which at the very end, Jason has walked away with Freddy's cut off head and Freddy winks at the camera, I believe. If I had to choose, I think I would probably go Freddy. I do find him conceptually to be the most terrifying because you have to sleep. Yeah. And if he just rules the dream world, where it's you are completely at a loss if that actually exists. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really love one of my favorite horror movies of all time is It Follows, and I love the antagonist in that. You never see him or meet him, but basically it's kind of like the Michael Myers type deal where he's just always walking towards you. And when it gets, and it can shapeshift, but when it gets to you, you die. And the only way to get him off your trail is to have sex with someone and it passes it on to them. But if that person gets killed, then it comes back to you, so it works its way up the chain.
Worst STD ever.
Yes, awful STD. Also, though, it's just great because it creates a, it's horrifying because you can never relax. Like from a psychological standpoint, anybody you are ever seen walking towards you every single day of your life could be the thing that's about to kill you. And I find that to be really, really tough to imagine trying to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. Probably not a great feeling.
What else we got in here? We had some other good questions. How to lose a guy in 10 days was scary as hell because I've met women that crazy before, says Wash Him Out.
That's a great movie, actually.
E. Goddard says scary/horror movies are overrated AF. I think they're terrible, all of them. I don't agree with that. There's a lot of bad, but there's a lot of good as well out there. Chris Brett texts in. He says he has PTSD from Poltergeist, Definitely scared the hell out of me as a little kid seeing it on like Superstation. Like, what is this? I don't like this. Get this off right now. Wasn't that always the best? You're flipping the channels as a kid and a horror movie's on there, and you have that inexplicable human temptation where you don't want to watch it, but you also do. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of like, you have your hand over your eyes, but your fingers are cracked so you can see just what is going on barely. What is that in us, I wonder? The curiosity, that almost masochistic curiosity.
What?
Masochistic.
Masochistic. Okay, that's another one.
Somebody who enjoys kind of inflicting pain on themselves. You can look up the exact definition. Hour 3 next.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bone.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Thursday, October 5th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect clear skies with a high of 92. If you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can now catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Sasquatch Smash. If you're going for bad horror, check out Sharks of the Corn. What? Is that a Mad Lib or an actual movie that got made?
Is that a sequel to Sharknado?
Is it like sharks in a cornfield? Like street sharks? Like swimming under the soil or something?
Or is like shark a metaphor for something else? Like, is it an actual shark?
Yeah, it's true.
Guys from Las Vegas?
Yeah.
That's sharp.
Yeah. But in this case, no. All right. Let's look. I want to talk Saints real quick. Then we got Munchies coming up next. And then we can revisit all this great movie talk at the end of those 2 segments. Well, and we still got to do our top 5 before we got distracted with movies. So we're always talking. Yeah, Street Sharks. That's right, Ben Levy. You remember Street Sharks? Y'all were too young for Street Sharks. When
Never
I say
seen
that,
it.
that means nothing to you, right? It was an old cartoon with these sharks they had human legs, but big shark upper bodies. They had 12 packs. I mean, these dudes were freaking jacked. They skipped leg day.
Skateboarders?
No, I don't believe they skateboarded. I could be wrong, but they would literally swim through the concrete.
This is a movie?
It's a cartoon. Look it up. Just Google it. Google it and put up a picture. But yeah, they would swim through the concrete and pop up. They had these toys though, man. They were so cool. That and Biker Mice from Mars. They used to be on the same page where Biker Mice from Mars were anthropomorphic mice who rode motorcycles, but you knew they were aliens because they had 2 little antennae, you know? Hilarious design. How do you make them an alien? Just took 2 little antennae on it. You're good to go. Okay, Jake, it looks like Ben says one was on rollerblades.
Okay, maybe
one of the Street Sharks. Yeah! Look at these dudes!
Oh, no, I'm seeing a skateboarder, too. We had rollerblades and skateboards.
Okay.
I think I was probably thinking about rollerblades.
Those abs are so the designs are amazing. All right, so look, we're always talking about New Orleans football, right? And how much I love the site. And well, the article we're about to break down is one of the reasons why Nick Underhill and Mike Triplett have been back in their research bag, and they are trying to figure out, okay, what is so bad about the Saints offense right now? And here's the title of the piece, quote, how the Saints offense is lagging behind the NFL's top innovators in use of modern tactics. And I'm telling you, this is probably going to piss you off a little bit. The first section, Jake, is titled Play Action, as the New Orleans Saints are currently dead last in the NFL with 15 play action pass attempts on the year. 15 times on the year. And sadly enough, it's not much of a change from last year, where New Orleans ranked dead last with only 86 play action attempts on the entire year. That's about 5 per game last time. You're about 3.75 right now. I don't understand this, especially because in the Drew Brees area, this was not the case. So they had 86 last year. That's 5 a game. In 2013, Brees did 193. But from 14 to 21, the average was around 130 to 140. So it's not like Pete Carmichael hasn't made great strides in doing this before. And it's not like Derek Carr doesn't enjoy doing it. In fact, Derek Carr has a 92.9 career pass rate on play action. And the Saints just don't run it. I cannot fathom why you would be dead last.
So also, if you don't do play action, yes, it hurts the passing game, right? That's the obvious one. It also hurts the running game.
True.
And what do I mean by that? Is because every time that you turn around and you're extending your arm to hand it off, well, they know you're doing what? Handing it off. and they don't think there's any threat that you're going to pull that and try to throw it down the field. So it actually hurts you in two ways, not just in the passing game, and it certainly does there, because obviously the linebackers have to hold, the safety's going to have to hold their position, and that's where you create those windows. But it helps the running back when you are running play action, because then they can't hone in on every time you extend your arm, you're going to get the football.
It's crazy. And what's funny is, because Nick starts this with, lagging behind the top in modern tactics. Like, these ain't modern tactics. We're talking about running a play-action pass. Why are you running 3 a game? Especially when you used to have so much success, especially when it's what Derek Carr does well. Like, Pete Carmichael, what are you doing? Well, how about this? What if I explained to you, did you know that you can motion receivers before the snaps? Yes, another modern tactic. Okay. The quarterback moves his foot, maybe gives a hand wave, and the receiver or a running back can actually run to, you can use it for like jet sweep, like all sorts of stuff, right? Yeah. Well, for the second year in a row, the New Orleans Saints are using motion less than any team in the NFL. Again, least amount of play action 2 years in a row, least amount of motion. Right now, they use motion on 1.4% of their dropbacks, 1% of the time. And as Nick points out, that sucks because they have a 109 quarterback rating when using motion. The Broncos, 1.8%. Okay, so as you see, the Broncos are it's right there. Last year,
I love shifts and motions.
Last year, the Saints used it on 1.1% of dropbacks, despite posting a 103 passer rating. I mean, you watch offenses like the Eagles, the Niners especially, right? Yeah. The Rams. That's what it's all built upon. That's how they're getting all their reads. That's how they're creating the confusion. That's how they're taking advantage of their weapons. It seems like the Saints just don't give a damn about any sort of subterfuge whatsoever. They don't want to make you think it's a run into a throw. They don't want to move guys around before the snap to confuse you. This is inexplicable to me.
Very rarely do you see San Francisco just line up. They don't line up in like 2x2 in doubles formation and just run a play. That's not who they are. There's a shift, there's a motion, there's a rhyme, there's a reason to everything that they do. It's an indicator. It tells everyone, especially the quarterback, what is going on with the defense, because they have to. If they're playing man, well, they have to move with that shift. If they're playing zone, it's going to look a little bit different. And I always give the example, whenever we were playing the Denver Broncos, they were like, if they were playing man coverage, like it was so obvious with the shifts and movements. And then if they were playing zone, I always give the example of Champ Bailey was in front of me one time, right? And I was lined up out wide. And it's like, okay, I know Champ Bailey isn't out here covering me in man coverage. Yes. They would not waste Champ Bailey on me. So, like, that's a great indicator of, oh, this is zone. And so Phillip can look at that. Okay, I know what zone that is, and all I'm going to do is run just a go route to try to run off the zone coverage there. But that's an indicator. All right, now if Williams, the linebacker, would have come out and he would have guarded me, well, look there, it's man. Or if even a safety, like that gives you just such a great indicator. Now I'm going to come back into the formation. Let's see who follows. Let's see who does whatever. But it gives the quarterback a cheat sheet to what the defense is doing.
So no play actions, no motions. Again, the title of this article is kind of funny because they talk about modern concepts. And certainly, the use of motion has evolved in a modern sense, but these still feel like, core elements of any great offense. And then we arrive at slants. Another interesting idea. One of the most unstoppable routes in all of football, especially when you have Mike Thomas, a guy who we literally called Slant Boy. Yeah. Had the single most dominant slant season of all time. Why then have the Saints run just 10 slants all year long, 2.5 per game? For some reference, Mike Thomas is getting run 1.5 a game right now. In 18 is what he said the record, or 19?
19.
So in 18 he ran 4, in 19 he ran 5 per game. He's running 1.5 right now. Now, every year he's done that, he's averaged over 10 yards a catch when you run those routes. Derek Carr has a quarterback rating of over 100 the majority of the time on those routes, over 90. So whatever. The point is here, what the hell is Pete Carmichael doing? That's the point. You're ignoring a lot of modern evolution of the offense. You're failing to get creative in any way. You're presenting this very bland, come as you see it sort of offense that is not taking advantage of your players' strengths. Everything we just talked about. Derek Carr is good in play action. Derek Carr is good, or the Saints are good when they use motion. Michael Thomas is good when you let him use slants. Why are you so stubborn? You're still trying to run some old system that doesn't work instead of adjusting what your players needs. Like, this is the most damning article I've seen on Pete Carmichael yet. It's just, this is it. Like, it's got to go.
Yeah. Yeah, because all those things that you're talking about, like, those should be done in every NFL offense.
Yeah.
They should be done in every single offense. Yeah, you can't be last in those categories. And then you look at, like, the strengths that you would have in those. Like, I would love to get Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed on the move. Like, those are two receivers that feel like they would thrive being on the move and terrify all defensive backs if they're on the move. Like, if I'm across the formation and all of a sudden I see number 22 motioning over and he's getting basically a running head start, I'm like, oh God, I'm threatened. And so I probably try to play outside of myself and do something that's not within the play call. And then that's where you get somebody else open because I'm doing something terrified that he's going to beat me deep. Like, it's just so easy.
Bro, you got the Chiefs out here doing ring around the rosy before the snap, and you use motion 1% of the time?
God, that's wild.
You got Mike McDaniel, like Shanahan, just running Tyreek Hill left, right, backwards, like all over. And what, you're using motion 1% of the time? And
Also,
then Dennis Allen said, frickin' A, you're right, it has to get better. If you say frickin' A, I can't trust you.
Ooh, I don't. That's a caution sign.
Like that's almost a firing on the spot. That's an Adam Gase press conference level of disturbing.
Also, motion can help you in the run game as well, with a tight end, with a back, even with a receiver, because I can start on the wing. Let's say I'm a tight end, 12 personnel. I can start on the wing, right, and the defender can have better leverage than me, and that's why you motion, right? You little yo motion, fro motion, whatever you want to call it, depending on if it's the Y or the F, and then you get in better position to go inside out on a power or whatever it might be. Or if I want to out leverage you on a stretch lead, like I'm using motion to benefit what I'm doing.
That's why I always defend Reggie Bush's legacy so hard with the Saints, because he was the ultimate decoy. Like what y'all are describing, like he was the ultimate example of that in Sean Payton's offense.
And to be fair, as Nick points out in the piece, there was a time when Sean Payton was one of the guys using motion more effectively than a lot of the other people in the league were. But the rest of the league has evolved to a point where, like we said, go watch the Dolphins, Niners, Chiefs, all these teams. Like you can very clearly see it where the Saints are just line it up and run it. No motion and no play action. Where's the deception come in? Like, help out your O-line. Right? If your O-line sucks, you can't have the other team know what you're about to do.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, as hard as we've been on the offensive line, you telling me those stats, like that tells you they're not really set up to be helped, right?
Yeah.
If you have something where you have a deficiency, well, do you make it harder or do you make it easier?
Exactly.
Or do you make it easier for them?
So this is damning. You know, they got to get it fixed. And I don't know that you can just change this offense like a quarter of the way through the season like you're currently in. So this, more than anything else, has probably brought down my expectations for the Saints this season. I don't know. I mean, last Sunday was probably the main thing, but I don't know that I'm at 10 wins at all anymore. I don't know that I'm above 7-10, just like last season. We'll see. I'd love to be proven wrong. I just feel a little down after reading this.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he listens to his players. I mean, the players are kind of echoing the same thing, just in media availability.
Yeah.
Like, if something doesn't work, scrap it. There's no need to carry this further.
Yeah, true. Greg Lamont, can we hire Matt Canada here? He loves to do pre-snap motion. There's a middle ground to be struck here.
No, and two, there's a rhyme and a reason. Like, just motion to jet sweep is different than motioning to a bunch or motioning away from a bunch, and that's a completely different conversation than Matt Canada. Matt Canada has his own issues right now. In fact, he's got more issues than Vogue with that offense. But did you see Chris Boswell, the kicker for the Steelers? Have y'all seen this video yet?
No.
After one of their wins, Matt Canada is coming down from the box, and he's celebrating with an offensive player, like dapping him up. And the kicker, Boswell, basically, he says, it's certainly not because of you, or something like in those terms. Like, it certainly ain't because of you.
What?
Yeah, and somebody called him saying it. And he said it loud enough where he wanted
Canada. To Canada?
Yeah, we'll see if we can get the video.
Bruh,
I mean,
if the kicker's taking shots,
and look, he's been there a long time. He's really good.
I know, but I'm saying, but you're dead. You're dead. Why is Tomlin sticking with it? That's crazy. All right.
Hopefully we can find that and play it.
When we get back, let's do a little munchies. Get your munchies questions in the chat. Chef Michael Johnson, join us next here on OTB.
OTB, OT.
K2Z Blinds, K2Z Window Coverings, K2ZBlinds.com is the website. We had such a good sit down with Brandon Barton the other day, Jake, getting to know this business inside out. And there's so much more that goes into it than I think people realize. And remember, we talk about the free professional estimate, but you really got to understand the depth of what that entails. Like, he just ain't coming in and being like, oh, these curtains would look good here, man. No. He's going to come into your home. He's going to get his phone out, not because he's on his phone. He's get this compass out, right?
Yep.
He's looking, okay, what time of day? How's the sunlight hit? What's he need? Okay, and based on all of this information that he's gathered through 25 years of doing this, he maximizes your potential. So if you're into interior design, your partner is, get some brownie points. Send him to K2Z, and you win. K2ZBlinds.com.
Yeah, I mean, even in my home, right, we had multiple options for multiple different screens based on where the sun sets at my house. I mean, he's going to do a great job for you. K2ZBlinds.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Scoocha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach.
This Sunday, as we bring you 3 different NFL games, we'll start at the noon kickoff. That's the Carolina Panthers against the Detroit Lions. Immediately following that, we'll bring you Eagles-Rams, and then the nightcap, the Dallas Cowboys and San Francisco 49ers. So tune in on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Hashtag Munchies in the chat. If you want to ask our guests any question, do it every Thursday at 9:15, 9:20 around then. It is Chef Michael Johnson, executive chef for LSU Athletics. He's the best. Chef, what's up, dog?
Morning, guys. How are y'all?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Avo did ask, hashtag Munchies, is there anything you can cook the defense to make them play better?
Oh, man.
Maybe like some mountain oysters or something, he says?
Yeah. Man, the thing is we have the talent there, but we have a really great set of guys, so I feel like they'll get it together.
Hell yeah. Hashtag Munchies. Do you recommend wooden, plastic, stainless steel, or aluminum cooking utensils?
Depends on what I'm doing with it, honestly. If you're making a dish that requires a lot of action in the pot, I prefer stainless steel for most applications when you're cooking something high and quick, a sauce or something of that nature. Cast iron, like if I'm searing something or if I'm baking something, I like cast iron because it's nice and even. Stainless steel, I don't really like to cook with aluminum ever, and the reason for that is aluminum is a lightweight material, but most of your hand tools that you use in the kitchen are made from stainless steel, which is a much harder metal. And so if you're grinding on the bottom of an aluminum pot or even touching it all, it can fleck, minute pieces of aluminum off and discolor and disflavor your dish. So I don't use aluminum in my kitchen at all. If I'm making something like paella or risotto, something that's a rice dish or something of that nature, I use a bamboo spoon. Something wood, as a general, is not wonderful because it absorbs and you can get bacteria in there. So you're looking for something harder than that. Like bamboo is super hard, super strong, super firm. So I prefer to use bamboo when I'm doing something like that. So it really comes down to what the application is. That we use this expression mise en place, which is everything in place, but the psychology behind it really goes to, kind of what your dad would put in your head of the right tool for the right job.
I love that, Chef. Also, wait, so you're telling me that when I take the Coke can and I poke the holes in it and I put that's not good for my lungs?
Are you cooking?
He's cooked.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's drunken chicken and not something else.
Yes. Actually,
more baked than cooked.
Now, to be clear,
more baked than cooked. You're
exactly. To be clear, I do love a beer can chicken, but I stopped cooking it on the can, and I bought one of those porcelain chicken thrones for it.
Bougie.
Hey, chill out. Chill out.
Bougie, T-Bob.
You're missing the whole point, T-Bob.
It was
you can't drink the beer before you cook the chicken, man.
That is fair. That is fair. I always get a couple sips in there. I did it with Dr. Pepper the other day, too. That was quite tasty.
Yeah.
Hashtag Munchies. Okay, how about this, Chef? I tried to make ribs the other day. I couldn't tell if the membrane was on there, if it was off. I couldn't get. It is on there. Okay, I tried to pull it off, and I couldn't get any purchase.
Yeah.
What is that about?
It's very rare that it's not on there, and one thing you can do to get it off easier is just shock it in some water, some hot water, real quick, and score it. Like take the bone and score it. Take your knife down the back of the bone, the bare piece, and score it. And then if you drop it into hot water very quickly, it'll make that membrane seize up a little bit and kind of present itself, if you will. And then it'll
boiling
curl
hot.
up.
How hot is it?
Just steaming hot. You know what I mean? Like something. It's got to be hot enough to make the proteins coagulate a little bit. So.
Damn it, because I think it kind of blew him. I mean, I like ribs, so not bad. I'm going to try them again, but that was a bit disappointing.
Hashtag Munchies, favorite bulk meal, and also wants us to answer this, T-Bob. So, Chef, if you're trying to bulk somebody up, what's going to be a typical meal?
It's going to depend on the human being in front of me. It really does boil down to like bone consistency, muscle mass, stuff like that. Some people bulk up easier than others. Some people can eat proteins clean and just gain muscle mass, and other people have to really work harder at it. So it's kind of a buzz question and a buzz answer of, good, clean, lean proteins is a good generic answer for that. Fats are good for burning, but you got to make sure you're burning the fats, right? So we prepare a variety of things for a variety of different body types, but as a generic form, like fish with omegas in there is going to be good. Salmon, steelhead trout, chicken breasts, even dark meat chicken is not awful. If you're eating beef, like flank steak and stuff like that, leaner cuts and don't overcook it. You know what I mean? If you're cooking it to well done, chicken you got to cook to 165. But if it's beef, the more well done you cook it, the more liquid that leaches out of it, the more nutrient loss you have. Right? So you're not wanting to cook it. The idea behind cooking something well done, unless you're cooking it in a pot where you retain the liquid and then you use that liquid for a sauce, that's how you maintain the nutrient value is serving it with the sauce. Otherwise, if it's just dripping into the fire or whatever, you're losing nutrient.
My buddy, I always loved this kind of Cajun thinking. My buddy Josh Jurasic back then, whenever he had to gain weight, it was just milk and peanut butter sandwiches.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Man,
well, peanut butter's great. Nuts are pretty good as a whole. Like we have vegans that we serve here that, we have to get protein into them and vegetable proteins or proteins that come from vegetation or whatever, they're out there. Even quinoa. So quinoa is a grain, and it's actually a complete protein. Like it is a fantastic grain to consume into the body if you aren't into animal-based proteins. Then, it possesses all the aminos that are necessary there for the body to, build muscle.
Hashtag Munchies. What's the best restaurant you've ever been to in Europe, Chef?
I've never been to Europe, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is surprising.
I come from a wooden spoon family, and I don't have any problem with that. I went straight into college studying my craft, and it's always something that I've wanted to do, and I expect that I will do. I just I went straight into the workforce, and I've been working since I was like 15, and taking time off, it just didn't ever register. I had kids at a relatively young age after I matured enough to have kids.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was mature enough to have kids, but I've never made it to Europe before, but it's high on the list.
Patrick says, hashtag Munchies, am I a better cook when I'm stoned, or do I just think I'm a better cook when I'm stoned? Same for my 3-point shot.
I think it's the best. I think it's the same thing, really. You know what I mean? As long as you think you're better, that's what matters, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, life is a matter of perspective. That's right.
That is, yeah, right, yeah.
Bilbo wants to know, hashtag Munchies, best foods high in collagen.
Stocks, bone stocks, stuff like that. It's really great to get collagen out of the bone and put that into your stocks and then cook with that. Chicken feet, for instance, high in collagen. Bone marrow is high in collagen. So, we take our bones and make stocks out of them and remove that stuff out of them. And then you can buy collagen supplements.
Right.
But naturally, it's going to be within the bone.
Yeah, I dump a little collagen in my coffee every morning, actually.
Yeah.
Tastes good.
That's why you had
it
that
doesn't
glow.
really taste like anything.
Right.
Also, Chef, I got a stock simmering at home right now, bruh.
Oh, man.
Been going over my house smells so good.
You know how to tell when it's done well and proper?
No.
So when you chill it off, if it's got a good collagen content in it, it'll wiggle like Jell-O. And when it cools, it'll be semi-solid. It really will. That collagen and gelatin in there will super thicken up.
I used the bones of 2 full rotisserie chickens. I used the veggie trimmings. I quartered an onion. I put some carrots in there. Anything that I missed?
It depends on how you want it to look. Sometimes I roast my chicken bones to give it color.
Oh, that's right. You told me.
There's leach out of that. If it's beef bones, I might brush them with tomato paste and let that caramelize on there. And like fish stock. A lot of people don't like fish stock, but we use it a lot. Put the whole fish in there from the bones and head. Think the part. Not the parts that you eat, obviously, but and saute that a little bit to kind of enrich in the flavor before you put the liquid in. A lot of people just put everything in together and try to simmer. I put my mirepoix in and carrots and let those saute for a little while, and then onions and let those saute a little while, and then garlic, and then like the bones and maybe even the bones before the garlic actually, and let that kind of build. You're building the flavor, right? Instead of just throwing everything together in and then letting it, hoping that it's going to taste good. There's a difference there.
Hashtag munchies. Is regular store-bought salmon and tuna okay to eat raw fish for sushi?
I don't take that. It really depends on, like you gotta find out where the source is. And some stores, I'm not going to mention any names or anything of that nature, but some stores will gas the fish to preserve it. Tuna is one of those that they actually gas the fish, but they subject it to carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide, one or the other. I think it's carbon dioxide. But the same thing. Like if somebody has carbon monoxide poisoning from their vehicle, their flesh turns pink, right? And when they perish, well, the same thing happens with fish. If you subject it to this gas, it turns that flesh pink, i.e. the tuna. So you can have gassed fish that you won't ever.
Great.
Yes, yeah, and it helps preserve it. So you really want to go to your vendor and talk to them and find out where it's from. Like I don't like farmed fish. It has a lot of fat in it, and it also.
Is there a store locally that you do actually feel like you could go and trust it?
I think probably Rouse's does. I think Whole Foods does. Any of those all natural places that announce that kind of stuff. Sprouts, I imagine.
No, I got you. I'm sipping what you're pouring, Chef. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hashtag munchies. What's up with weird grains we never use anymore, like amaranth, millet, and farro?
God, I love that stuff, and we use it here a little bit. Because they're students and they're younger. A lot of that stuff hasn't been introduced to them yet. Moms and dads don't cook with that a lot, so it's a slow introduction. But I love all that stuff, and I love teaching and talking about it. I think all that stuff, like the fiber that's involved in it's good for the human body, to clean things out and keep you well moving, I guess. And they have value, like eating a variety of grains is much better than just eating the same grain all the time. Like you get different nutrients from different grains.
Chuck Bro says, I like sushi from 7-Eleven. I actually do like, I like grocery store sushi, Chef. I have a bit of a problem. What's your thoughts on grocery store sushi?
I mean, can the sigh there just kind of let it stand for what it is?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, man, turns out if you just get a bunch of rice and pour eel sauce over the top, it's not bad, dude. I mean,
I'll tell you this: if it's coming from the grocery store, it's more likely that it's been at least frozen and prepared in that way. So what most people don't understand is you can't just take raw fish out of the ocean and cut it up and serve it. That's not sushi.
You can't?
That's dangerous, man, because
I had no
fish
idea.
have parasites. Yeah. Fish have parasites. Like most fish that you eat are predator fish if it's coming from the Gulf of Mexico, right? So even catfish, like freshwater fish, like if that fish is eating another fish, that smaller fish is probably eating smaller things, like the chain of life or like the ecosystem, like the big things eat the little things, which eat the smaller things.
Yeah.
So those things are all consumed into its body. And, like, I don't know if you've ever been bow fishing at night in the marsh, but you see these little worms swimming about, man, and fish eat those, and it finds its way into the body. Well, the pelagic species also can carry parasites in them as well that you don't see, and you don't want to get that into your body, man. Some of them can make that into your muscle tissue, and then you have parasites. So, what they do is the sushi program is to take that high grade, whatever type of fish protein it is, and subject it to like a negative 40-degree freeze for an amount of time. And it can be negative 25, but it's got to be like for 4 hours or something of that nature. And if it's negative 40, it's got to be for 1 hour or something of that nature. But there is most definitely a harsh, super, super fast freeze that it's called blast freezing. We've talked about that before, but it's necessary to, one, it's got to be a blast freeze. because if it's below negative 25 or warmer than negative 25, you have cell structure damage that damages the tissue of the fish because ice crystals form during the freeze, and that, crystals are sharp little ice objects that protrude through the cell structure and allow the whatever's in that cell, liquid or whatnot, to come out, and it forms like a mealy taste on your or palate, right? So it feels mealy. So when you freeze it faster than negative 25 up to negative 40 or below, it freezes without that cell structure loss.
Unreal. Part scientist, part chef. He teaches us new things every single Thursday, even after the years we've been doing this. Chef Michael Johnson, executive chef for LSU Athletics. Chef, thank you so much, man. You have an excellent day.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
See you, Chef.
All right, take care, bro. Damn, that's crazy. I never knew that.
Either,
I just always assumed that you could get like yellowfin and
me too.
chop that thing up on the boat, throw it over some rice, and you got like the freshest sushi available.
Yeah.
Damn. And I guess if you're frying it, then it doesn't matter, right? Like if you're cooking it, you're going to cook it out anyway. It's only if you're trying to use it raw for sushi.
Sure.
When we get back, more OTB.
OTB, OT.
ITI Technical College is a local family-owned trade school that's been changing Louisianians' lives for 50 years, guys. And we're celebrating 50 years of ITI Technical College. They're right there off an airline highway. If you feel lost, you feel intimidated, you feel like you have a job but you want a career, you feel like your life needs direction, the answer is ITI. And look, that's factual. If you look at the studies that have been done on return on investment, what you can be expected to make. But I love how they take care of their students, okay? They work with you to create a schedule that works for you. They do mock interviews with you. They help you find what you're passionate about. They have great relationships for potential internships, potential career opportunities down the road. It's not just come to class. It's everything after the fact as well. ITI Technical College.
Yeah, check out that admissions process right there. ITIcollege.edu is the website, but go see them off Airline Highway. You'll be blown away with the campus. ITIcollege.edu.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-26.
Hey, it's Hunt. Join me for a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, presented by Rouse's. Get down to New Orleans and check in on the Saints as they prep for the Patriots. And we'll start taking a deep look at the Missouri Tigers. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Congratulations to Taylor Broad. Taylor's our Week 5 winner in the 2023 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest and wins a Twin Peaks gift card. Don't forget to make your picks for Week 6 by noon today. Play the Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today at 1045ESPN.com.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, I want to do our top 5, but first I want to play this sound that Jake was alluding to earlier. So this comes... This comes from, what game is this? Who'd they play?
I don't remember who they won the game. It wasn't last week because they got housed last week, but it was a game in which the offense didn't do a whole lot, but they still, it was the one I think Boswell ended up making like a ton of field goals.
Yeah.
And something like 4 field goals, maybe 5, something like that.
And so here's Matt Canada celebrating after the game, and well, let's just see the video. I haven't seen it yet.
Because of you.
What?
It ain't because of you. I can guarantee you that much.
Oh my God, dude!
Play that one more time. Play it one more time. This is Matt Canada dapping somebody up, and Boswell's the kicker.
It's on TikTok, so I got it. If only,
damn TikTok.
If only Blake Groupie would be willing to say the same thing to Pete Carmichael. No, I'm just kidding. Groupie don't have the job security policy.
Because of you.
Wow.
He said that to that man's face.
Yeah, like he said it loud. He didn't whisper that. He didn't say it to his teammate.
Half the Spanish Ramada said that was from last year. So
I
that's
don't know when that was, but I just
so
saw it.
crazy to me though, because it's continued. Like the fans don't like Matt Canada. That would point towards the players like not liking Matt Canada. Does Mike Tomlin just really like working with him?
Yeah, even if it is from last year, the situation's gotten worse. I guarantee you
right.
that.
I think it's even worse that it's from last year.
Yes.
Damn,
that's
even wild, bro. All right, snaps, top 5. Couple minutes here. Texas won. What did I say? Snaps?
Double coverage.
OTB, dude, it's so hard. I keep getting my wires crossed. They called AJ Aaron. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, mine are off campus and off the bench, and so I write mine out every single day on off campus.
Oh yeah, that's rough.
Okay, OTB, top 5 of the country. Texas won.
Yes.
I
confirm.
Texas won, obviously.
No, you don't have to, Mark. This is your own
No,
top 5.
I do. I do.
Okay. So we're all in agreement. Texas, like based off this year, based off what we've seen this year, not what we've seen last year. This year, this is our top 5. Okay.
I'm guessing you want Penn State at 2.
No. I got Florida State number 2.
Oh. Because why? The LSU and Clemson wins? Second best resume, maybe?
And I think just when you look at the talent and who they have, I think they're a team that's going to be there in the end. I can't see anybody in the ACC beating Florida State. Certainly now that Riley Leonard is going to probably be out in that game.
All right. I could see that. I'm tempted to go Washington too, but Washington doesn't have the big crown jewel win yet. They'll have plenty of opportunity to get them coming up here. So okay, I can go with Florida State 2. Who do you want 3? Is that where you got Penn State?
Where are you? Where are y'all 2?
Very subjectively, I've got Michigan 2.
Okay, based off this year?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought about going Michigan, but I'm with you. I'm going Florida State. Okay. They got a win over Clemson and a win over LSU. That's a little bit better resume than Michigan has.
Yeah.
I would go Michigan 3, and I know Michigan has not played anybody.
I got Michigan 4.
They played just as bad of a schedule as Georgia has, but they've handled it way better.
Yeah.
The only reason why they don't cover, we talked about it yesterday, is just because they take guys out.
Yeah.
Right? They don't need to play the fourth quarter. I am a little interested though. Like,
God bless you. God bless you again.
Will they be ready for a 4-quarter fight whenever they eventually run into one?
I think it's a fair question. I have Ohio State 3 and Michigan 4 because I've seen Ohio State go on the road, play to the style that Notre Dame had to have that game played in to win, and still win that game. And I think Kyle McCord's only going to get better as the season goes along. And so for that reason, I've got Ohio State 3, Michigan 4.
I'd go Michigan 3, Washington 4, and then I'd probably go Ohio State 5.
Yeah. So I'm still firmly like in Washington's corner. Like I really am. I think Washington can beat anybody in the country, but I've got them 6 and I've got Oregon number 5. Because I think Oregon can change their style of fight in a game. Styles make fights. We always say that. Well, Oregon has multiple styles because I truly think they could line up if they're playing Utah, if they're playing Oregon State, if they're playing at UCLA, those physical teams, they can play that style, live in that style, and thrive in that style. But they can also play a USC, they can play a Washington, and if they have to get into a track meet, well, they can also play in that style. So the fact that they can kind of change their identity, and not because they don't have one, but because they have multiple ones that work, I think Oregon's very dangerous because of that and because Bo Nix is like in his 17th season, as we always say, right? A veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
Dan Lanning has changed the attitude there in Eugene. He is committed to Eugene. He's not like Willie Taggart. He's not like Mario Cristobal, who tried to find the first job out of Eugene. Like, he signed an extension there. He brings a different attitude to them. So I think Oregon right now for me is 5.
Well, and Bo Nix maybe needs some rejuvenate pretty soon here, as Jake alluded to. Very old, and I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, male or female, okay? Rejuvenate can help you fight the aging process, help you feel young again. I'm excited. Me and my wife about to start weekly B12 shots. We try to get a little extra energy as life gets crazier and crazier. But look, mood and memory problems, insomnia, energy issues, weight gain, not having the strength they used to, andropause, menopause, facial aging, all of this stuff is treatable, y'all. And it's all treatable at Rejuvenate Medical. They got locations in Baton Rouge, Metairie, Slidell, Shreveport as well now. So what are you waiting for? Go get your labs drawn. Go in there and see what's right for you. Maybe it's HRT, maybe it's semaglutide, maybe it's neither of these things. What they do have is the answer for you. RejuveMedical.com. Close on the show next.
OTB, OT.
CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. When you overthink it, don't overthink it. Just go to Central Plumbing and take advantage of 50 years of experience, man. The Payne family been getting you right. And they got a massive fleet now, okay? So it's not just residential. You got any big commercial jobs, office buildings you need met, they can handle it. And the only way you stand the test of time is because your customers trust you. And I trust them because of the flat rate pricing, the licensed bond insured employees, and the excellent warranty coverage after the work is done. CentralPlumbing.org.
Yeah, go to that website today. And look, you can see the 24/7 emergency service. That also means 365 right there. But also check out the things they can do for you as far as a remodel, right? If you own a business, doesn't matter how big that business is, they can come in and they can completely overhaul it if you want them to do that. Now, they can also just come into your home and do the same thing for you, give you a face-up, tell you exactly where everything can go that's set up for success. Go tankless today as well with the tankless water heater, centralplumbing.org.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Welcome to your football weekend. Mike Triplett, Fantasy Blitz, Ryan Clark, getting the latest on the Missouri Tigers. 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cole Kersat, Viziard Seltzer, and Blue Moon Lots Gas Citrus Sweet. Better movie, Talladega Nights or Step Brothers?
Step Brothers.
Yeah. Correct answer. Talladega Nights, great. Both very funny.
Saw an excellent Step Brothers meme, and it was like Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp seeing each other at practice. Did we just become best friends?
That's well, why would they be best friends though? Because isn't old boy just stealing all of Cooper Kupp's thunder?
Kind
and
of.
basically showing that Cooper Kupp is like a system player and not a beast himself.
If you want to look at it that way, yes.
I mean, obviously you don't win the Triple Crown without being a beast yourself.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying. Ask the Bench, favorite SNL host. You know, I always thought that Tom Hanks did a great job when he would host. Always sneaky funny, old Hanks he was.
Host? Jason Bateman.
I don't think I've ever seen him. Yeah. Ask the Bench, can alumni players come back and help coach up the players, or are you not allowed? Bro, you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, dog.
Nah, you don't want us out there.
No, that's what I'm saying.
This is how I ran zone out of I formation. What's I formation?
Yeah, exactly. Ask the Bench, is the LSU Mizzou over the safest bet in the history of sports wagering? No, that would be the Iowa under, which always is.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like an idiot because I said the same thing last week against Ole Miss. I just can't wrap my head around. It just feels stinky because it's so obvious. But I said that about Ole Miss. Look at what happened. That thing hit. The live over got up to like 99 or something at the time.
Yeah.
The correct answer is Tyler Hero to be an all-star this NBA season.
Yeah, Mario's saying he's going to wager his entire life savings on that. And my God, what a miserable way to lose your life savings if it's on Tyler Hero becoming an all-star.
We shall see.
Ask the Bench, if Coach Kim talked to the football team, do you think she could fire them up? I mean, I believe that Coach Mulkey, you hear on this show every week, I think like there is nothing Like her lessons apply to any sport. So like, yeah, you could get value out of having Coach Mulkey speak to your team, business, whatever. In my opinion.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, can Coach Mulkey? I just say yes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, guys, Pontoon Parlay coming up tomorrow. Okay, we're going to get back in the W column this week. Going to start looking at the slate hard tomorrow. Jake's going to be heading to head to Dallas for the Triple R. But we're going to remind you to use the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You're signed up for the first time. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. You bet $5 on an NFL game. You get $200 in bonus bets instantly. For returning customers, there's sweeteners every game day this October. Must be 20 or older, physically present in Louisiana. Select pairs only. Bonus bets expires 168 hours after issuance. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. Terms of sportsbook at DraftKings.com/firstball. Terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
OTB.
Patient Plus Urgent Care. PatientPlusUC.com. PatientPlusUC.com, where you will see the difference. If you've been in Patient Plus, you already know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go check it out. And remember, Patient Plus has opened their membership program. PatientPlusUC.com/memberships. If you want to look at it, $20 a month, or you just buy the year in bulk, you get an additional 10% off. And check this out. You go twice, you come out ahead of the curve, boys. And you get unlimited visits. They got family rates as well. So what are you waiting for? You need to feel better this fall. Get in, get better. Life's unexpected moment. You want Patient Plus.
You absolutely do. And they're always going to be for you in that unexpected moment, because there's a location near you in Baton Rouge. Check out those locations, PatientPlusUC.com. Get in and get better.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.